Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening, I mean. Good morning here in Arkansas. How are you? Raindrops? Is that your name, Audrey? Audrey, can you hear me? Audrey, can you hear me? Hello? I can't hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, okay, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mimic.
Good evening. Good
Hey,
evening
good
here in the
evening. How
Philippines.
are you? Where are you from in the
I'm
Philippines?
I'm from Cebu.
Oh, you're from
Cebu.
Cebu. I'm from Cebu too. I'm from Lapu-Lapu.
But I am not originally a Cebuano. So my husband is a Cebuano. I am a Tagalog
Oh, you're
from
Tagalog.
Mindoro. Mindoro.
Okay. Well, we usually practice our English here so that when you get used to the interview. So tell me about yourself.
I am Florita Concepcion. I am a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Commerce, major in management, way back 2004. And then when my children already in primary school, I used to be their tutor. So I fell in love in teaching. So I think teaching is calling me. Then I enrolled into what do you call this, a diploma in professional education, and then I applied in private institution and I was hired. And then when I finished my diploma in professional education, I took the LET and I passed. And now I am currently in public school. I am teaching senior high school students. Um, Senior high school students teaching the strand of ABM, Accountancy, Business and Management, because that is my undergrad. So after that, when I already in DepEd, I continue my education. I
Oh,
will continue my education because I really love career development. So I enrolled my masteral. The first masteral that I took is Master of Education major in mathematics. Then after one semester, I realized that this masteral degree is not aligned with my bachelor degree course, which is in that it should be aligned with my undergrad. So I shifted to another master's degree. So the it is aligned with my undergrad, which master's in business administration, major in financial management. Because
okay.
here in DepEd, it is very important that our undergraduate course is aligned to our graduate studies. So that we will be able to be eligible for what you call promotion.
Okay. Well, that's
Okay.
why did you want to come to the US and teach here?
Actually, it is always been my dream. Yes, America. America is the dream for men. And I am curious and I am very interested on how to be a teacher in the United States. And I really wanted to learn a new strategies, of course, culture, of course, because um, I really love career advancement. So I don't see myself that I am just in the four corners of the room here in that ed. So I really love to explore more, to learn more.
Okay, that's good. That's a good
And
reason. Yeah. Well, whenever you did your introduction, you may not want to tell them the story about why you switched. You just say, well, I started with I received my bachelor degree in whatever, in management, business management. But then when my children grew up, I decided that I really, would like to teach. Therefore, I embarked into, masters or whatever. And then, just do that because you only have 1 to 2 minutes or sometimes 3, but 1 to 2 minutes to introduce yourself. And they have other candidates that they are in line, they're calling. So I hate for you to waste your 5 minutes of your time that they could have known you better. Okay, but we did very well on your introduction, and you don't have to mention. Yeah, you did a good job of not mentioning how many children you have or any personal thing. You stayed with a professional, and your school is lucky to have you having your degree in business accountancy, and then you are using that to teach. I think there are two. There's a debate going on between the alignment of your bachelor and masters. Some people think like you do, like it has to be aligned. Well, the other people, and I happen to be in the other side, is that I think that you should do a different area for your master's because you already have a bachelor's degree, a 4-year degree on that particular field. So in education in America anyway, that you're more qualifications for you. Because, for example, I have I know that I wanted to become a curriculum director, curriculum person. So I did my bachelor in elementary and early childhood, and then took my secondary education, classes too. So I was able to teach both, but I did my specialist in curriculum. And then my doctorate, I went to educational leadership, which is your administration, here, the administration supervision there in the Philippines. But I guess there are two schools of thoughts on that, but they're both correct. You're correct because I see the expertise that you become. But then on my side too, they also kind of see as a former administrator, I could see like, oh, this person will be flexible. I could put her here, I could put her here, something like that. So, it could go either way, depending on what school of thoughts that the administrators might have. But yeah, congrats to you for being such a professional student. You
Thank
just
you.
keep going to
Thank you so much.
school.
Actually, Doc, I am currently in my doctoral
Oh,
in business administration, and
good
I
for
am
you.
preparing for my dissertation already. But
Oh,
I feel exhausted. Teaching in depth ed. I don't know, Doc, if you experience already teaching here in the Philippines, but I know your colleague there now, the teachers that that came from depth ed, the experience is not that good. But for me, I am very thankful because even though it's very stressful and exhausted, but I'm very thankful, Doc, because I learned a lot. I learned a lot from these system education in the Philippines. And because I really love career development, I really wanted to widen my scope where I can teach in not only in senior high school, because I am only teaching now in grade 11 and grade 12, because in the depth ed, Doc, we have this senior high school. Senior high school is grade 11 to 12, and I am a teacher item for senior high school only. So I am not teaching in junior high school, which is the grade 7 to grade 10.
okay.
Now I am currently enrolled in SPED, Doc.
Oh, wow.
Another.
Yeah, you really have a lot of areas. Well, here in the US, it seems like there are just various configurations of grades, like very common to have 6th and 7th is being called middle school, and then 8 and 9 being called no, I got it wrong. 6, 7. Yeah, 8 and 9 are called junior high. And then 10, 11, 12 are high school. But there are also some that I'm noticing 9 to 12 is their high school. And then, so anyway, so they have the freedom. The school districts have the freedom to call their configuration depending on their buildings available, of course, for their district. So they've got that freedom. So yeah, I think that's a good goal. That's good that you always think of your long-term goals and then you work towards it. And you were wondering if I had experience in the US, in the Philippines. No, I was 19 years old when I came here, and then I got my education here, my bachelor, master's, specialist, and doctorate here. So I did different degrees along. So I have 4 diplomas in 4 different things, but because of that school of thought I was just mentioning earlier. But there's really nothing wrong with it. I think you will be such an expert in your field because you were aligning it. And because that might be your interest, that's your passion. So stay with the passion, you know, that's always so important. But anyway, thank you for talking to me. And I don't know if you have, is this your first time of attending?
Yes, this is my first time though. Actually, I was planning to join, but because sometimes I feel tired, so I fall asleep now during 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
And
I understand. With all your endeavors, I understand completely. Well, anyway, it's nice talking to you, Audrey. Do you know my daughter, my 32-year-old is Stephanie Audrey McCullough, because Audrey was my mother-in-law's middle name. So we used her middle name. So yeah. You spell your Audrey with R-Y? R-E-Y. Yeah, I used to, exactly.
Sorry, Doc. Actually, Doc, this account is not my account. So because I was I was joined, so I did not rename it to I will rename it, Doc. I am Florita Concepcion. This is
Yeah,
the
that's why,
account of
yeah.
my daughter.
That's what I was
So
wondering. I
sorry.
said, yeah, you said Florita, but then it says Audrey, so I don't know if you have, that's a different name. Okay.
I will rename it now, Doc.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no problem. I will remember it because it sounds like Florida. Yeah. That's how you remember names. Well, nice talking to you, and thank you for attending. Let me see if I could call Thelma. Delmar, do you mind talking to us? My name is Merlina McCullough, Dr. McCullough. I am a professor at Arkansas State University, an adjunct, because I'm really retired. I'm retired from the Department of Education, the main office, and Arkansas in 2016. So I've had my consulting firm here in the US since 2016. So now I bring Filipino teachers here and I support them through coaching. So I go visit the schools. You know, I would have contracts with the school district and they pay me to come and I go and observe our teachers. So last year I bought close to 40. So most of them in Arkansas, but some of them in other states. But I'm excited this year because I think we have more this year, because I don't know if you have a link to those job postings for all the 50 states. If you don't have that, make sure you request it from me. It's mcculloughmerlina@gmail, because, or you can roll back on our GC, because I think it's in there too, group chat. So anyway, and what you need to do is think about what state you want to be. If you want to be in a big state, you might want to think of Florida, California, New York, all that. And then if you want the smaller, the kind of states like a province to us, Southern, is you're going to start, Missouri, Arkansas, Florida, all those, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee. So if you look at our map, you can see where it cuts off in the bottom. And that's where, those will be more of a province-like. And then, so the other states are big, but then you also have to spend a lot of money on the apartment. The apartments would be 2 or 3 times what it is in Arkansas. So if you can get an apartment or a house here for $500 a month, there's maybe 1,000 or 1,500. So it's kind of relative sometimes. You make more money, but then you spend more money because everything else is expensive. But it's really your heart. If you are a person that, I really like the city better, I'm going to be bored to death in the province. Although the province here still has everything, you still have our stores and all. It's just not the skyscrapers that you think about in the city, but we have everything. We can get everything, technology wise. But anyway, so you have to know, and you'll be true to yourself, if you're going to be that kind of person or you'd rather be in the city, because you don't want to be miserable, especially that you don't have at first. When you get your J1 visa, you might not have your family yet as J2 visa. I would recommend that if you want your family, you might want to start saving money for them to come. You can go ahead and still interview with them, and then I think you have 6 months to bring them. So a lot of times it takes them 2 or 3 months to save the money to bring them, because because the school will not handle the fares and all the expenses. You have to be the one. So anyway, J1 visa is what you're going to be doing if you're going to be. It's like a teacher exchange visa. Yeah. So any question before I move on to, I was going to ask Delmar to talk to us. Delmar, do you mind? Thank you again, Florida, to talking to me. Delmar, do you mind talking to me? I'm Merlina.
Hi, good evening, ma'am.
Evening. Good morning here.
Good morning, ma'am. Sorry.
No
It's
problem.
evening here in the Philippines.
Yes.
Ma'am Zati tried to chat me to join the Zoom meeting with you. So
Thank
that's
you, Miss
why
Ati. Well, thank you for coming on. Yes.
I would
Tell me
like to
about
listen
yourself.
for your.
Yeah.
I'm Delmar Cabarubias. I graduated my bachelor's degree in secondary education, major in mathematics at Mindanao State University. I completed my academic requirements in my Master of Arts in Education, major in mathematics at Bukidnon State University. I also been teaching in public school for 9 years, and I am teaching mathematics.
Okay. So you're doing high school math, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What grades are you teaching?
I'm teaching, as of now, I'm teaching grade 11,
Okay.
senior high school.
Okay. But when you introduce yourself, you may want to include that. Like this, this is my 9th year of teaching, and I've been teaching this. So currently I'm teaching 11th grade, but in the past I have taught this, and this. Like I have taught all the grades except 10th and 12th. So I've taught K6 and yeah. So anyway, so that would be good for administrators to hear, so they know what grade levels you have experienced, and so they kind of have an idea of like, okay, where do I need to put this teacher? Because sometimes they're scrambling people around, they're switching roles. So it would be nice for you to tell them what grades you have had experience in. Okay. So you're in Bukidnon right now? You're in Bukidnon?
No, I'm in Misamis Oriental.
Misamis. So do you speak you speak Cebuano or Visayan?
Yes,
Visayan.
Bisaya.
Yeah, I'm from Cebu. I'm from Lapu-Lapu City, actually Mandawi, but then Lapu-Lapu City. But my parents, my mom actually came from the south, which is Karkar. So Karkar in the southern part of Cebu is where.
Cebu.
But I was 4 years old when we moved to Cebu City. So I guess I'm also, my husband called me as city slicker because I didn't know much about I didn't know much about the province. But now I do.
I hear.
Yeah.
Yes, I hear about Karkar.
Yeah, Karkar is a nice place. I have really fun moments there, because that's where my grandparents lived. But I think, in here in Arkansas, I felt like I'm living like I'm in Karkar, except I have all the technology. And if I want to go to another state, I'll just take my car and go. In the past, or before my husband had a stroke, I had a stroke 2 or 3 years ago, and he could not fly anymore. So now I drive everywhere. Used to, he would fly me to another state, which was nice. I'm married to an American. We've been married 36 years. Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah. But anyways, nice talking to you. Now, why did you want to come to the US and teach here?
I want to come to the US to grow professionally, and I also want to experience and learn the culture of the US, and also to share our culture in the US.
Very good. Those are really good answers. Yeah. Because you learn from your students, you learn from your colleagues, and you also have something that you want to teach. So that's really good stuff there, you're saying. So yeah. Anyway, do you have any question for me, you and Audrey, before I move on to the third person? Do you have any specific question for me?
None so far, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, you can call me Ellen. You have to call me Doc, but they call here Mom Ellen or Miss Merlina or Dr. Merlina. But anyway, I know you'd really we do not want to use first name only, but in America, we're so informal here. We call each other with our first names. Although my professor at ASU, who is now my colleague, he said, "Oh, Dr. McBride said, oh, Merlina, just call me Jackie." And I said, "Oh, Dr. McBride, I could never call you that, because you're my professor. And now, although I'm your colleague now, it still feels weird to call you Jackie. So I know exactly what you may be feeling, but those who are comfortable with me here and are living here now, they do call me Miss Mom Ellen. I think Maria calls me Mom Ellen. A bunch of them call me Mom Ellen, because that's my nickname. I don't know where they got Ellen from Merlina, but you know how it is in the Philippines. We have our own nicknames that they give us. Yeah. So that my family always calls me Ellen. It's so funny when I first came here in 1987. You know, I have well, I don't call them stepkids. I say bonus kids. My husband had 3 kids, you know, and so they would answer the phone. Back then, when we had landline, we don't have landlines here, and mostly cell phone now. But anyway, they would answer the phone and they say, "Is there an Ellen here?" Somebody's calling for Ellen. They don't know. They don't know that Ellen was my nickname. So now they do, but yeah, because it's so different than Merlina, you know. So
Yes.
do you have any nickname, Delmar? Do you have any other nickname that people call you?
Most of my friends and families called me Weng, which
What-
is very far from Thelma.
Where did they
Yeah.
get that? Where did they get that?
Weng.
Yeah, where did they get
I
that?
don't know.
Somebody just made it up?
Maybe.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, it's nice talking to you both, Florida and Thelma. Let me see if I could find somebody else. Jackie Lou Matbagan, do you want to talk to us? It's kind of dark. I know it's 9 o'clock there
Yeah.
already. Do you have a light or somewhere? Maybe because I
Yes,
can
I have, but
pretty
my
face.
phone is charging because my laptop is that low kind of low bat, and I forgot my charger in
Oh yeah, that's
school.
better. I could see your face now. Yeah. I could see you better now. Yeah.
I want to transfer in the kitchen
That's okay.
so that you will see my face.
I was
Okay, hi,
yeah.
Doc. Good evening.
Well, if you ever have an interview, you know, because if you have sent your CV with me and your cover letter and 3 reference letters to McCullough@gmail, I put your name there in my file, and then I've been sending it to administrators, not just in Arkansas, but in the surrounding states in the South. So, and also I have given you, as I mentioned earlier, the link to multi, job postings. So you choose a state in that file I have, and then there's top 10 or 20 schools, bigger schools there, and then you click on it and it goes straight to their job posting. So you may want to check it out. Raise your hand if you have seen that, the job posting for
Yes.
You have, okay.
Yes.
So have you chosen a
Yes.
state? Which state do you like? Thank you. Yeah, I see. Who is that's raising his hand to the guy? Oh, Mike. You're here now, Mike.
Doc.
Let me see, Mike.
Doc.
Yeah.
Doc, I will assign Miss April later on to be the co-host po, because I'm driving. We're going to Memphis
Oh, okay.
to get his new car.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yes po. And then we're going to bring only 1 car. And Sir Edison will be the one to drive it and going home.
Okay. Sounds
yes, po.
good.
I'm going with it. Yes po, yes po.
Yeah.
And currently I got my driver's license last Monday, ma'am.
Congratulations on that. And also
Yes,
happy birthday. I wasn't
thank
there
you
for
po.
donuts on for your birthday, but yeah. I can't believe you're
Happy
driving to Memphis, Mike.
birthday.
That's really busy
Thank
place.
you.
Yeah,
Yes,
Memphis is scary, so you be careful because there's so many lanes. I think there's 5 or 6 lanes in there. So
yes,
yeah, so be careful. But anyway, so
yes,
April is not on yet. Maybe I will ask Giselle. I see Giselle.
yes, po.
Regular.
I'm
Giselle.
on my way. Yes, po. I'm on my way going to the district house po. To
Okay.
fetch them, the 3 of them. Yes, po.
Okay, Giselle, do you mind if did she leave? Oh, Giselle is here. Hi, Giselle. May I make you a
Yes, Doc.
please? Okay. So if you don't mind to, from now on.
Yes, Doc.
Yeah, just let them in, okay?
Yes, Doc.
Thank you. So I can be talking to the others.
Yes, Doc.
Giselle is my, other than Mike, Giselle is one of my really favorite fan over here because I'm her fan because she always attends. So I feel like I really know her, and of course her relatives are already here. My favorite folks here too. So yeah, so I'm hoping you all could come here soon and get together. They're having a good time here. But anyway, so let me see, who am I talking to? I was talking to Jackie, right? Okay, Jackie, continue. I'm sorry about the interruption, Jackie. Tell me about your stuff again. I know you said you're from Cebu?
No, from Bukidnon.
Bukidnon.
From
Okay.
Bukidnon.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me more about your professional life.
Okay. I am Jackie Lusalin Matbagan from Bukidnon. I'm sorry for my voice. It's husky today.
You're fine.
I have been teaching for 7 years in a public school, teaching social studies, and also currently coach in wrestling. And to add with that coaching experience of mine, I have two athletes, student athletes, will going to participate this coming national championship this July. And currently, I am teaching here in our own place because of the pandemic. The first time I was assigned 5 to 6 hours travel from our home.
That's a lot.
And since the pandemic, our superintendent advised us to transfer to other station, but the same division. So I am so glad because I was assigned in my own place, currently teaching here in Bukidnon, Kalilangan.
That's a blessing. 6 hours a long
Yeah,
ways. Yeah.
pandemic is a blessing, but some, but we cannot say it's a blessing totally
Well,
because
sometimes
somebody
a
are
blessing in disguise for some folks.
suffering. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, so you say you teach social studies. What grades were you teaching?
I am teaching grade 10, but I am also teaching subject in grade 11, particularly in research. And also I am teaching grade 10 values education.
Okay. Yeah,
Values education.
in your interview, make sure that you mention the coaching, really coaching, and then the research part, because those are really two good things that you need to include, because there are a lot of schools here that do not have coaches on wrestling. So a lot of times our coaches here get extra money to coach, and then they have their regular, subject to teach. So essentially,
Wow.
if, for example, if you have 6 or 7 classes, then you only have 5, and then you coach for the 2 periods. That's kind of how it worked. So they do it during the day, but some sports also go do it in after school, but some sports like
Okay.
part of their PE or something. So depending on the school, it's a very the schools are very independent. They can make choices on their curriculum and their configuration of grades or anything they do. They usually go ahead and let the state know, but it's really their district that would make the decision. So yeah,
Yeah.
talking about hoarse voice.
So good. It's another compensation if you do wrestling because
Yeah.
in Philippines we don't have any addition to the salary.
Oh, really?
It's
Yeah, you have stipend.
passion
They
and
call them
additional
stipend.
work.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Here they call it
It's good.
stipend. If you're willing to coach, then they call it stipend. And I don't know how much it is. I want to say 5, 10,000. I don't know, depending on how rich your school is. But that's still gonna be
Okay.
pretty good. Because the salary in Arkansas now is new law is $50,000, which is 2.5 million. And that's 9 months. You're teaching for 9 months, about 180 days, and you get that much. So it's pretty cool, but some states are even more. But the problem with the other states, even if they pay 50, 60, but then you have to account for the difference of the apartments and other expenses. So make
Yeah,
sure
the living expenses.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think about, if you have a roommate, you think about $500 for your expenses, because you're gonna have to split everything, food and utilities and all that. And then you still should have enough for your family. Because if you clear 4,000 something, that's quite a bit. So you may spend 1,000, so you still have
Still a
$300.
big amount. Yes,
Yeah.
it's still a big amount
Yeah,
compared to our salary here.
yeah. After you pay your expenses, you may still be able to send or to have 150,000 pesos every month. So it's not, it's a pretty big chunk. It's a lot of multiplier.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
Yes, ma'am.
administrators, we make like double the teacher. So
Wow.
yeah. So anyhow, yeah, but it's very hard to get a job as an administrator. They call it a good old boy system, where they just kind of call their friends and, hey, I'm leaving, and then they recommend their own friends. So it's really hard.
Okay.
Yeah, my first interview to become an administrator, and I think I got the job by saying, sir, I'm confused because everybody's looking for somebody with experience. So how would one ever get an experience? Because everybody's looking for that. Would somebody ever get someone a break, coming straight from the university? And I was like,
Yeah.
because I was applying for literacy specialist, which is like your K-12 literacy specialist. You make decision in the curriculum in English, language arts, writing. So you are the one for the district. And I had 6 schools that I, it was 6 schools district. And so then here I am, English is a second language. And this was a big school. This was about 10 times the size of my school where I taught 15 years. And so then I said, and she said, well, Merlina, what this is the superintendent asking me. So what would you say to people that say our literacy specialist speaks a different language? And I said, sir, that is such a good question, because you know what I tell my students, that you have to have a special respect for those that speak another language, because that means they know at least one more language than you. Because a lot of times, like in the Philippines, we have 88 languages and I know at least 3. So, so with Spanish and English, I have 5 languages that I know. So I said that and they were laughing, and they said, and he said to his assistant, John, did you ever think about it that way? I never thought of it that way, that they know at least one more language than you. And so I got the job. And so anyway, that was, And so this was, ancient history now, but because I've been in education for more than 30 years. So, it's a long time, but it's nice to be, I still remember our values. I still practice our values, our core values as Filipinos, and I love giving back and doing, things for Filipino teachers and being in education still, because
we feel that, Doc. Thank you so much for all the links that you have.
You're welcome. I'm enjoying it too. You know how it is when you are giving or you are whatever, it's almost like, you also feel good. So so it's like, so they're giving back to you as well. So, but anyways, nice talking.
Bless you more.
Thank you. Yeah, Jackie, do you have any question for me? You have any confusion on how the process works?
Okay, I have a question, Doc. If I can add your name to my references.
Yeah, you can. Now that you talk to me, yes, I know you're not going to review. See, what happened is somebody would say that and they would send me a little survey. It's a little survey form, and you rate yourself 1 to 10 from the people that you put as your references. Make sure you tell them that to be checking their emails often, because when you get it, then I'll always mark everybody 10. But then you have to put the strengths and weaknesses. And so I have to go back to so if you have never sent me your resume, CV, and reference letters, I would not know much to write about you. I will do something generic.
Yes, it's true.
So make sure you do give me, your CV and your cover letter and 3 references, because I review that before I would even, I would even mark. I do mark you perfect, but I want to know what to say. And it's still matched. I would hate to say, well, she's very organized, and then you are very disorganized, or something like that. So I would like to see what you said about yourself and what the others said about yourself. So that's very important. And being on my list also is that's distributed to a lot of administrators. So you have 2 chances: them seeing my list, and also you going to the job postings and going directly yourself. So once you have that, then you can, once you get interviews and get a job offer, then you need to look for a visa sponsor, a designated sponsor. There's only like, I think 2 or 3 pages of list that they are the only ones that could sponsor J1. So do not get anybody that does not exist, because third-party agency. Can you mute yourself, please, if you're not talking to me? Thank you.
Okay, one more thing, Doc. Can I send you a new updated resume and my Spantran evaluation for my POR? Can I send you?
Yeah, you send me whatever you want to send me, because everybody's got an individual folder, and I just stick it in that folder, and then on my data sheet, there's a link to your folder. So if they like you, and there's a picture there, and your one cell has your picture, and then they like you, so they will click on that and they will see everything you sent me. So that's what they do, and then they will
do that,
schedule an interview. Yeah. So you need to remember that when they communicate with you to give you an interview, tell them that you are 13 hours ahead of the US, of Arkansas anyway. So other states, if they say New York, if they're Eastern, and then they are ahead of, they're ahead 1 hour yet. So there'll be 14 hours. So anyway, so just convert the time, the Philippine time to whatever state they are, and then it will tell you how many hours difference. So like right now, it's close to 8 o'clock in the morning, and now there is like close to
almost 9 o'clock in the evening.
And so that's what it is. You just add 1 more hour and then change the AM to PM. like that. That's how it works.
Okay.
So add
Copy.
1 and then AM to PM, PM to AM. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, but it's still
Copy.
Saturday. So, but tonight, when it's still Saturday here, you already are in Sunday morning. Yeah.
Sunday morning,
So
yes.
yeah, remember that. And if you a lot of people here, and I get complaints from my friends because I'm pretty bad about staying up really late. And I would send emails, you know, when I think of something. And they said, Merlina,
Mhm.
you have woken me up several times. I said, what you doing with your phone next to you? They said, well, I put my phone next to me and it makes me a
Yeah.
notification and wakes me up. So be careful about that. You
Yeah.
need to use the one that said schedule send. I always do a schedule send. There's a next to the send button, there's a schedule send, and you put it on the 8 o'clock, that, you know, at least on 8 o'clock, because that way it will
You
not.
send.
Yeah. I always do a schedule send for my administrator friends because I don't want the complaint about, oh, wake me up every time you send something. So now I'm very
Yes.
aware of that now. I never thought about that before because I don't put my phone next to me. I put my phone in another room. But most people, I guess, put their phone next to them. But I think that's good for emergencies. But anyway, it was nice talking
Yeah.
to you. So there's I talked to
Nice
Florida.
talking to you too, Doc.
Yeah. So who's next? Giselle, thank you for being my assistant there, Giselle. How about Charity? Charity's got really pretty hair. Straight hair that I wanted. Charity Limpa, do you want to talk to us? You are muted right now.
Hello, Doc. Good
There you go.
evening.
Yeah. Hey,
This
good
is my
evening.
third time of attending your Zoom meeting.
But it's the first time
And
of talking to me. Okay.
the first time that I talked to you, Doc, that was my first Zoom meeting also. But then I wasn't able to talk for quite too long because my connection was not that stable that time.
But it was okay. That's why I said I don't remember you very well because yeah, I would have remembered. Okay. All right, go ahead. Tell me about
Yes,
yourself professionally.
I am Charity Limpag, a teacher from the Philippines. I have been teaching the Department of Education for almost 10 years already. I have been in the public school for almost 10 years, and I have been teaching also in the private school for 4 years, teaching mathematics. I am a graduate from Bukidnon State University, and I am taking up Bachelor of Secondary Education major in General Science.
Okay.
And I'm very much, yes, and I'm very much passionate with dealing with students, and I want them to be able to acquire and be equipped with the lifelong learning skills that they're going to have for them to face the different challenges or adversities that they're going to go through in the future.
Okay. Very good.
Yes,
And why did you want to come to the US?
I want to come to the US because I want to learn the culture of the American people. So with the educational system of the USA, and also be able to share the rich culture and the beautiful culture that we have here in the Philippines to the people there.
Very good. I love the adjectives you use about the Philippine culture. That's really good. Okay, let me make a comment. I guess you know my thing now here. You are very fluent, which is good. You might want to watch your verbs though, because you said you taking means that you're still taking it. You're not still taking the degree, right? You have already taught it. So you need to say, I have completed, this degree. So you need to make sure you pay attention to that because if you use the ing, that means it's still going on. Okay,
Yes,
so
for
you
the
are still
previous
taking it. Yeah. And I know whenever,
one.
because English is not our second language, it's not our first language, that we think so fast and we translate it so fast that we don't pay attention much about it. I was guilty. Believe me, I was doing that. And so now that I've been in America for 36 years, it's pretty much natural for me now, but I still would mess up a lot like that. So, don't take it like I'm hurting your feelings or anything. But
Yeah,
anyway,
no doubt. Okay, yeah.
yeah, just pay attention to your verb tenses because that's a very common mistakes for ASL, not just kids, but also adults. And also, if they ask you for an interview, you need to pay attention to your background. Your background is busy. It's got like stripes and all that. So if you're gonna have a busy background, make sure you have a solid clothes because you're gonna have designs on your clothes and then designs in the back that make you really busy, not professional looking. So you may want to
Yes,
think about that. Do something solid if you have your designs in there, okay? Because the
yes,
blue and also blue and green don't go well together. Is that green? I don't know. I'm colorblind. Yeah. So, but I love the pictures. Is that something you
yeah,
do?
it's the Raymond dog, the one that my children loves to see.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, just remember that you wear something solid. If you, I like, I'm wearing American things because of the Memorial Day weekend coming up, where we honor the, the soldiers. But notice my background. I made it plain because my outfit is pretty busy, so I made it plain, and it just kind of helps maybe for people focus. So instead of some people like focusing on your background or your clothes, they would be focusing on what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you
It's
so much
okay.
for that help.
Yeah, you have great answers though. And so anyway, you said 10 years and you said you taught what subject is it?
Science dog from
Science?
grade
Okay.
7. Yeah. For my almost 10 years in depth ed, I have been teaching grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, and grade 10 science.
Okay. So you can say I have taught 7 through 11 or through whatever the end is, science. You can say that. And then instead of saying dep ed, you might want to say in public school. They do not know what dep ed is. So you want to say I have been teaching in public school because, like Department of Education here, when you say Department of Education in Arkansas, I work for the Department of Education. It's really the main office. That's all we refer to. It's the main office in the Capitol. And I had an office there. And that's what they're gonna think, that you work in an office in the dip ed. So it needs to say public school, because the Philippines, we always call them dep ed when we refer to public school. Yeah, and the most administrators, especially if this is the first hiring of Filipinos, they're not gonna know. It's like, oh, so you have a desk there in the in the Department of Education.
There's a cubicle.
Yeah. So it's just gonna be a misunderstanding. So yeah, you need to just make sure public school. That's no big deal. No big deal. You can explain it if you forget. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for coming on early, and that way I get to talk to you some before everybody else comes. So you have any question for me before I move on? You
Yeah,
have any questions?
no, I don't have dog. I just want to say thank you for all the learnings that I get, dog,
You
with
are
all the
welcome. You're welcome.
help.
I've
Yeah,
learned
because
from you
that's
too as well. So you have been receiving my video then, the recorded video. We have
yes,
received,
dog, yes.
you have received them. Okay. For those that are here and you have not received my videos, that means that you have not sent me anything. So make sure you do send me those 3 things, okay? CV, cover letter, and reference letters. Very important, especially if you put me down as a reference. I have got to know you, or else I would not have anything to say. And they would always say, have you met this teacher? I can't lie and say I have when I haven't. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I'm supposed to have recommended you. Why would I recommend somebody I've never met? So so make sure that I do. Yeah.
So ironic. It's ironic, dog.
Yeah, really, right? It's like, okay, yeah. All right, next. Who's next? Is that
Thank you so much, dog.
Oh, okay. See you later.
God bless, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Giselle, who can you call for me, Giselle? Who else is needing to talk to me? Rasmia? Is that Rasmia Fernandez? Love that name.
Hello, Doc.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, good evening to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening here.
Okay, tell us about
Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk to you.
You're welcome. It's nice talking to you too.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, teach me about
Yes,
yourself.
Okay. I am Resmia Fernandez, and I graduated Bachelor of Elementary Education, major in reading, and I have a master's degree for about I earned 33 units. I didn't finish my masteral. And at the same time, I am a public school teacher for about 19 years. I am a grade 4 advisor, teaching science and English. here in our place.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, teach me about your teaching philosophy. What do you believe about education, about teaching kids? That would be one of the most common questions, is your teaching philosophy. What do you believe? Like, for example, do you believe in hands-on things? Do you believe in, what do you believe about kids, about teaching?
My teaching philosophy is that I think one of my teaching philosophy is teaching
Kids what?
teaching while sorry though.
It's important to teach
what do you call this one?
You can say it in our language and I will translate for you.
Yes, teaching while learning by doing. I
Very
mean,
good.
sorry though.
Yeah.
Kinakabahan po ako.
That's okay. That's Dewey's. Yeah. So it's hands-on.
Yes, doing learning by doing, especially in my science class. I use the teaching style, learning by doing, in order to discover first, especially in our experiment. So I use the teaching, learning by doing. So then by students, what do you call this one?
Say it in our language and I'll tell you. Because I'm
Yeah.
they're not gonna be able to, but I
Ano
will
ba
be
yun?
able.
Yes. Yung mga students ko, na gumagamit ako ng mga real objects in order to manipulate.
Okay, very
in
good.
order to
You use
manipulate.
realia. That's called realia,
Yes.
REALIA. So I use realia or real objects in order to make sure that,
Yes.
yeah, my student learn,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, in order to manipulate the objects.
Then follow it up with examples. For example, I use
for
this.
example,
Yes,
in our science subject, for example, the parts of the flower. So we use the real flower, and we use also the pictures in order to identify the different parts of the flower.
Okay, so very good.
That's all.
So you are you can say things like, I believe my teaching philosophy includes constructivist. It's a constructivism theory,
Yes.
which is learning by doing.
Yes.
And I believe
Yes.
in using real life objects in order to further explain my scientific concepts. For example, when I teach my students parts of flowers, I make sure that I use real flowers. And I also believe in using other resources, and then you said about pictures.
Yes.
You do technology or whatever, because I believe that my students learn in different ways because of multiple intelligences. So you're able to address their needs. Okay, very good. You got your thoughts together.
Yes.
Just make sure that you get this practice in front of a mirror, in front of your family. That way you feel more comfortable, because right now your eyes are not even looking at me. You're looking at your notes. So you have got to be looking at the camera, because in the American culture, if you don't look at their eyes, it's rude to them. You know how we get in trouble in the Philippines, and our parents would, or my father anyway, would say, "Don't look at me. Are you defying me? Because you're looking up at me." Theirs here is the opposite. When I'm disciplining my kids, I want them to look at me in the eye. I want you to tell mom that you got this, that you understood what I was trying to have you change. You know, so when you interview, make sure that you look right here where the camera is. Let me see if you can. You get right there. I can see your eyes looking at me. Okay, so even if you have your cheat sheet, maybe right above your screen where you just look like you are looking at the camera, but you have your notes, your notes there, right there in the corner of your screen, but you're still looking at the camera. Okay, it's kind of tricky, but a lot of people were able to do that. You still got your cheat sheet because like I'm writing. Okay, I'm writing. So while I'm talking, while I'm listening to you, I'm actually writing notes, so I will know what to talk to you about. Okay, but you did well. You did
Yes.
well. You have I think you kind of dwindle. You were very confident at first, but then you kind of dwindle down. And I'm Filipino. Don't you don't feel
Yes.
intimidated by me or anything, because I'm the least intimidating people in the world. But
Kasi po, Doc, parang hindi po ako, parang kinakabahan po kasi ako. Parang hindi ko ma-construct yung, yung English ko.
it's very normal.
Sorry po.
Yeah, no, it's very normal. That's why it's very important that you attend more Zoom and talk to me every time. Answer me and
Yes.
practice your
Yes.
English with me, because they would sound like me except
Yes,
without
Doc.
the Filipino accent. But anyway, so they would speak really fast for you. Because at first I was like, oh my goodness,
Yes,
these
Doc.
people that I don't understand some of their when they talk. I know my husband
Yeah.
would talk really clearly, and the family, but some of his friends are like, oh my God, they just ate their English up, nosebleed talaga. and so anyway,
Yes, Doc.
yeah, you have to just be aware of that and get used to it. I would recommend that if you watch American movies, anything there on your TV, do the caption in English, and then that way it would also help you practice. Okay, that helps as well. I have
Yes, Doc.
always hosted exchange students, and I've always encouraged my students. What a beautiful cat there. Anyway, I've always encouraged my students to do the caption thing and use it, because that's one way of also learning more of the terms. I do that in my Spanish. I watch the telenovela and I know some Spanish, so I would have the caption in Spanish, so that way that way I would know the whole story, plus I would know the terms that they use, because most of our language is Spanish, so we actually would understand it some, but there are some words that I do not know. So yeah, if you'd want to do that, that would help. Okay. Also, when you said master, I've noticed that with everybody would say masteral units. You can just say masteral degree, so many hours. They don't say units, by the way. They use hours. So like I have 30 hours on my master's degree. So I have completed 30 hours. And if you say like, how many hours is that? Because in here, we only do 30 or 36 hours. We don't do over 36. So how many hours are your masters there? 48? What is it? How many hours do you have to have in order to complete it? 60? What is it?
I think, Doc, 80 hours.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious? That is a lot.
Because I'm just because I've just what do you call this?
You just started? Because you just started? You just began?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. So you can just say, I have, so many hours, 30, for example, 30 out of the 80 hours I need in order to finish my master's degree. You can say that. Okay. And you say one of my philosophy, it needs to say one of my philosophies. Okay. And I still do that after 36 years. I still messed it up, man. I still get that corrected on when I write. So one of my philosophies, because you're not going to have just one philosophy. You're going to have more than one. So you're one of your philosophies. Okay. And other than that, it's very good. You just need to look at me. Okay. You can do it, Rasmia. You just look at me and look at them whenever they give you an interview. And I love your background. It's plain, and I could really focus on you. And what a nice headphone, because it had a microphone. Does it have a built-in microphone? Yeah. Yeah.
This is a headphone,
Yes.
USB headphone.
I love that. I'm writing it down to see if I could order that. Amazon here. Yeah. Okay. Well, nice
Yes,
talking to
ma'am.
you. Any question for me? You have any specific question you want to ask me?
For now, Doc, I'm just listening at you.
Listening to me.
I don't have any question for now
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you
because
so
this is
much.
my first time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right?
Doc. Thank you
It's
so
always,
much.
I don't know why people always get, I guess I do too when I first speak to someone that I didn't know. You kind of feel like, I don't know, I'm not very comfortable with this person yet. So I'm hoping that you will feel comfortable with me and attend more than one. Okay. And in that way you'd get used to me. And those that this is our
Yes.
43rd video. So you have this people, so some people had attended 40 something Zoom or had watched the video. So we had a lot of videos already collected. I'm in the process of making a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna cut pieces of it and put titles, whatever the topic is. And I'm in the middle of doing that. So at least you could access it on YouTube. So anyway, so that's what I'm planning to do. It's a slow process whenever you're dealing with video, though. It's a very slow process. I have translated all of them into YouTube format already. I just haven't spliced them. Yeah, so I'm learning new things. Okay, who's next? Let me see. Hey, Giselle, I'm going to ask you to call. Giselle, if you don't mind to call for me.
Okay, Doc. Ma'am Ann Alejandro.
Sounds good. Miss Ann
Alindahao, sorry. Ma'am Ann Alindahao.
Alinda. Okay.
Hello, Doc. Good
Hello.
evening. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah.
Dr. Merlina.
Oh, I love you black and white.
Okay, this is my second time, Doc, attending your Zoom. I'm very proud to say that I am a member of this
thank you.
Organization. Then I will start. My name is Ann M. Alindahao, a public school teacher here in Cebu City, Philippines, handling music, arts, physical education, and health. I earned my general education with Montessori units from University of San Carlos. Then I also earned my Master of Arts in Education, major in pre-elementary in Cebu Normal University. And I also graduated my Doctor in Development Education from Cebu Technological University, Doc, with Dr. Lauronelia, my advisor.
Okay, that's my cousin. That is my cousin.
Doc.
Yes. He was the one that's helping me start this one. He actually gave me the first few names, and then it grew, and now we have 1,000 members in our Facebook group. So yeah.
He told me, Doc, when he retired ko no mag-combine ko no mo sa inyong mga abilities.
I would like to partner up with him to have an agency. Yes, I'm already in the process of doing that right now. Yeah.
Yes, Doc.
Cool. So
I am also yes, Doc.
Go ahead, continue.
I am also the sports coordinator of our school and our district with our PSDS, Sir Lauronelia. I'm also handling different events in our district like athletics, arnis, badminton. We have chess and Scrabble, football, swimming, and table tennis.
Oh, that's a lot of sports.
Yes, Doc. I'm organizing we have 7 schools in our district. Then organizing that event with regards to our district intramurals, followed by district, and followed by we have division meet from our division, then Siviraa regional and national competition.
Wow. Are you also expert? Yeah, go ahead. Expert in what? Are you expert in?
Organizing event, especially in sports, Doc. That is my specialty.
Oh, nice. Yeah, go ahead. Finish. I won't talk until you finish.
Okay, my experience in teaching for 20 years motivates me to teach in the US, where I believe there is an exchange of culture, from the US and the Philippines with same vision that fosters individual growth and curiosity through exploratory way of education in a creative and enjoyable way. Then, my strong initiative and ability to cater a diverse range of learners because we have different learning style, then multiple intelligences, allow me to thrive a challenging teaching environment, especially in the Philippines, the culture of our students. Then we have to enjoy as a teacher, embrace the changes every now and then with regards to the behavior of our students. My greatest professional successes includes encouraging my student to be a dreamers always and lifelong learners with professionalized approach to teaching that instills their confidence, abilities, and potentials. Then one of my philosophy in education is that all children are unique. They are very good. No children in our division, Doc, we have to no learning will left behind. We have to embrace, we have to lift them up, must be have a stimulating environment where they can grow mentally, emotionally, and socially. I believe that students interact the environment in order to adapt and learn the process where the people make sense of their experiences, like learning by doing, and which they actively engage in making things and exploring our world. Thank you, Doc. That's all.
Thank you. That's one of the longest introduction. But I can tell that you know it well because you look at me and you still look at your notes, and that is perfectly acceptable. And I kudos to you for your doctoral degree. That's really hard. It's hard to get.
Yes, Doc.
But
Oh,
it was
it's
not
hard
just given
to.
to us. Yeah, you and my cousin are both got your doctorate, so that's really cool. And I'm the first one in my family that got it. So I'm hoping I'm not the last one. Oh, my daughter already got hers. She's in first psychology, and so she's a PhD in psychology. So we got two doctors in the family, but her last name changed after she got married. But anyway, but it's impressive to me that I guess as a fellow Filipina that we do really try to educate ourselves more, because that means we're very open to growth. And I think that's very important, because a lot of the, it's more common here to just have a bachelor's and they stop and they don't get their master's. And so for me to talk to you guys and to you all, and a lot of you have master's and doctorate. I have maybe 20 people in my list that have doctorates. And I always feature this. I put doctor in your thing so they know that you got your doctor. But sometimes it helps you and sometimes it hurts you, because they, some of them that are not very growth mindset people, they think that you're like, oh, this person has a better degree than me. One of my former bosses actually approached me and said, Merlina, do you know that you have more degree than your boss now? And I'm like, yeah, but I take it like a feather in your hat. It should be an extra feather in your hat, because you have motivated me to continue to go to school. So I think it's also kudos to you. When I said that, I'm like, oh, yeah, I didn't think it that way. That's what I said. But yeah, so as a fellow Filipino, it always makes me happy and proud that, to hear really, really well-educated fellow teachers. Yeah, anyway, so it's amazing that you went to at least 3 different universities. And that is something
Yes, Doc.
that they've actually suggested to us that when you take your other degrees, go to other universities. That way you have a different thoughts, different perspectives based on whatever their philosophies are or visions and missions in those universities. I didn't do that. I stayed in Arkansas State University for my
without
Dr.
Lauronilia, Doc, I cannot what I have today. I cannot profession.
But do you know that always takes a very special and very strong person to acknowledge others? And so thank you for that. And that, you can tell a strong leader is when they always acknowledge their team, like you are doing, because your weak leader, they are very insecure and they want to take the credit for themselves and they don't want to give anybody credit. So that is, I can tell that you are a very strong leader. So kudos to you for that. And you are organizing all kinds of sports. My goodness. So you have a big school. that you have all these
From
sports?
yes, Doc, from Cebu City Central School, the heart of the city.
Oh, okay.
Then
Where's that
we
located?
have Pidolosario, Doc. Then we have the E-Mall, the ACT with so many buildings.
So that's new then, because I left there in 87. So when was that built?
Newly lang, Doc, we have 5-story of all the buildings of public school. We have a high-rise building, fifth floor until 5th floor.
Yeah.
Then I'm doing grade 6. So I am the advisor, the grade leader of grade 6.
Okay.
Then I have also under with me the grade 4, 5, and 6. Then I am also the sports coordinator.
Well, they're just
Dr.
putting all kinds
Lauronilia-
of hats on you. They're putting all hats on you.
Dr. Lauronilia will not get another teacher. Okay. He told me, Anne, you can do it. Oh my God, sir.
He trusts you.
I am an advisor.
But,
So
but
I always have no time for my student. I will give them a little teacher. Okay, we're going to send to Karkar for Siviraa for 1 week. Then
Yeah.
I told my student, be responsible. I have a little teacher by group or pairing. You are going to teach your classmate, those who are slow learners, then moderate, then fast. So they are going to have a collaboration, though.
That's good. But make
Group.
sure that you don't mention that part, though, that you are leaving your students to go somewhere else. That doesn't sound
Yes,
well
no.
here in America. So just make sure, because your priority should be your students. And so anyway, so yeah, don't mention that in your interview. But it's obviously being my cousin, being a delegative leader sounds like you can only delegate to people that you trust, that you know the ability. So obviously he does trust you that you can do it. So yeah, but you have to also learn to say no, and you have to say no, because it took me a long time to say that, to say no, because I was like you, I would say, yeah, yes. And then before you know it, I was color coding my schedule because there's so many things I was saying yes to, so now you have to make yourself say no, because you have to do your priorities. I have already this priority, and I cannot do anymore, because if I add more to my plate, then nobody will be a priority to me. Nothing will be a priority to me. So make sure you do that and talk to him. He's not going to get you. Just say, hey, you realize I have this, hello?
Yes, no.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, but that's, but you have so much to offer to school. So I hope you have been active in applying in those multi-state.
Okay, I already sent my application kaning Dorchester County Public School, though.
In
then
what state?
Let me see. Maryland, though.
Okay,
Maryland.
Maryland, if you like cold, that's very close to Canada. Very, very cold. Like you have to wear the thickest jacket, and the snow there would bury a car, would bury the whole car. So if you like that, fine, but if you don't, you better not do Maryland, because if you look at the US map, right, and above us is Canada, the closer they are to Canada, the colder they are. You're gonna have to be ready to like be wrapped up with 5 different layers or more because it is so cold there. Yeah, but I like the South, and I'm biased to South because our winter is very mild,
I already sent also the Airedale State Vale School, though, in North Carolina.
North Carolina is good. It's close to the beach. And so, yeah, so that's really good area. North and South Carolina is good.
And I also choose the Ohio.
Okay, Ohio's cold, close to the Great Lakes, but it's not bad. Yeah, Ohio is by the Great Lakes. Yeah. Okay, so what's your favorite state then? You think that you're gonna want to be, like you're hoping?
Sir Lauronilia told me you stay in Arkansas with my cousin. I try, sir.
Yeah, you need to apply in Arkansas if you can, because I would love to meet you in person. What I'm thinking was, I have a property in the Philippines that I'm trying to sell. And so if I sell that, I'm going to come to the Philippines to close the deal. And I would love to see you guys. I would love to see the applicants in person. So maybe in a hotel somewhere or whatever, maybe a school would host us, but I would love to
I'm
have a get together
excited.
with you, whoever can come, you know, because it would be nice to see you all in person before you come here. You know, I was so excited seeing everyone, you know, when they came here, but it would have been nice to meet them too before they came. Yeah. Okay, so Miss Anne, do you have any question for
Thank
me?
you so much, Doc.
Specific questions, huh?
None so far, Doc. I will
None.
just email you, Doc.
Okay.
Okay, thank you
But
so
you know,
much.
yeah, because you have your doctorate degree, you may also want to check the universities. Like there are 5 or 6 universities in Arkansas, for example. Check their postings. You can go to any, just put our universities in Arkansas, USA, and then there'll be a list of them. And then go to their careers. You know, there's a department there, either human resources and then careers or employment. And any school, that's what they would say. And then apply there. Because a university job is very fast. You'll be here in a month. In a month, you'll be here. And they would do H-1B visa. You are here for green card for the university. So I want to encourage those with doctorate degree that you also need to apply at universities. That's what Layla did. And she is now in Nashville. But she applied as someone with a doctor's degree. Because if you have your doctorate degree, you are in a specialty area, they call that. And that means that you're not part of the quota, of the limit of applicants. So you're kind of outside that. So yeah, I would encourage you to use that by applying at universities. So yeah, universities.
Thank you so much, Doc.
Yeah, see, I teach at the university level, but I do online. So I have never done a face-to-face. I've always done online because I've always done it as a side hustle. I would, you know, I have my real job, and then for 10 plus years, I've been teaching at a college. But this is my own college that I was, you know, going to school in. So all these, my colleagues now were my professors. Although several of them had retired. But yeah, you can do that too, you know, that if you have, and I know of Dr. Johnson here that just arrived, that she still continues to teach in the Philippines, you know, as an adjunct in the Philippines, and then still teach here. Because the opposite, you know, of the opposite time, you can do that. It's night here, it's day there. But you might not have much sleep, but yeah, you can do that. But here, when you teach online, I have a Zoom with them once a week. And then the rest of the time, I'll just answer them because I give them my cell phone number. So my students can just text me or, you know, email me or message me. And then during the time that I'm in the classroom, I don't answer them. But when I step out, then I can answer them, you know, because I like to, most professors would not give their cell phone number because they don't want, you know, they don't want either parents or teachers or, you know, other teachers to get it. Not me. I give away my number because I want them to be able to get a hold of me. You know, if they have a problem, like for example, a lot of times they would have a deadline, you know, of Sunday night. And then by Saturday, they're like panicking, you know, there's people that are procrastinators. They're over there, oh, you Dr. McCullough, what, you know, how did you, I said, did you just wait till Saturday? You know, the day before? I said, you had 2 weeks on this assignment, but anyhow, but yeah, you can tell those people that would panic because they still haven't started and they have a question about the content or whatever. So yeah. So yeah, I encourage you to apply at a university, okay?
Okay, Doc. Thank you so much for your advice, Doc.
Yeah, thank you. And say hi to my cousin for me. He's been wonderful.
Yes, Doc.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Doc.
All right. So who's next? Giselle, do you want to call us the next person? There's somebody with a nice graduation. Is that you there? Is that yours, Anne? That nice graduation picture?
Yes, Doc, last December.
Oh yeah. Oh, congratulations. Which school would that be? Would that be the normal? Which one?
Yes, Doc.
Yeah. Okay. So you have all this, yeah, all these different colors from different universities. It's amazing. Okay. So Giselle, who's next?
I think it's Mom Charity, Doc. I just wanna tell everyone, Doc, especially for those who haven't spoken yet.
Yes.
I may comment it in the chat box.
Yes, put it in your chat box so Giselle would know who to call next, okay? Thank you so much. I would encourage you to talk. I know there's some of you that just observing and listening, but I would really want to encourage you to speak at least once. That way it's recorded because I don't remember everything. I'm very forgetful now. So I always go back to these Zoom videos and review who talked to me, what did they say or whatever. And so Giselle, before we call somebody new, can you please, let's encourage the ones, I mean, our special guests who are already here. I'd like for them to speak. Is it Leslie and Abby? Are they on? Or April and
I think
I know it's here.
it's Ma'am Dina, Doc.
Okay, Dina.
She's
Miss
here.
Dina. Miss Dina, do you mind talking to us? Dina's been here, what, one month now, Din?
Yes, Doc.
1 month. Also, oh, how's your first month? Can you reflect on your first month? Reflect on your first month. What do you think?
Full of adjustment.
I want to tell you, Dina, that I'm very impressed with you. When I observe you in the classroom, and here you are teaching these really tall 6-footers, you're high school students, and you're just really in control of your class. You know, they're listening to you, they're paying attention, they're taking notes, and that is so good. You've got them under control. You don't have any, you know, attitude problems there that I noticed anyway. So you have established that, obviously. So how
somehow.
How about the first week though? Did you have problems the first week?
Actually, when I went there for the first week, I observed the other Filipino teachers how they used to handle their classes, Doc. So I entered the classroom of Mr. Edison, Ma'am Jean.
And what did you notice? What did you notice that you copied? Did you copy any of their styles?
Yes, Doc. Especially most of the ones that Ma'am Jean used to have, because some of her students are my students as well.
So how does she handle it? Yeah.
She's giving like seat works.
Good. As soon as they come in, you have like a do now?
Yes, Doc, the bell ringer.
Yeah, a bell ringer. Do you time it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes? How do you time it?
Yeah, I used to have like that duration.
Okay. And then do you check it immediately, or do you like check it and then give it the next day?
It varies, Doc. There are times that I check it immediately, and there are times also that I need to check it during my free time.
Mm-hmm. So you always return your work the next day? Is that what you do? You always return it the next day, or do you wait a few days?
I wait a few days, Doc.
Why not an immediate feedback, Dina? Dina, immediate feedback is very powerful, because then by the time, if you wait a few days, they forgot it already. So why do you wait a few days?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to put you in a spot, but I mean, is there a reason, I guess, what I'm trying to find out? Is there a reason why you would wait a few days? You were busy.
It's not like that. It's just like, it takes time for me sometimes to check.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's understandable. You're so busy the first year. You're still trying to get your footing, you know, and you're still trying to stay ahead of the students. So that's very understandable that sometimes we get that, just as long as you don't wait the next week, because the next week would be like the students already forgot the assignment. So try to, give it to them either the next meeting or the meeting after that, because it's no good to wait that long. I mean, when I was administrator, I always asked my teachers, how soon do they return the papers? Of course, the literacy teacher is going to take longer because it's essays. Science and social studies should be faster. Sometimes math is also taking longer, especially if it's a really long assignment and they have to show all the work, and all that. But so anyhow, you're science, right? So what kind of assignments do you have them do for 5 minutes?
Lately, Doc, I used to have like interactive games because we were discussing about atom. And there's such a PET simulation by University of Colorado. So it's a nice website where students could do interactive activities, like they could create an atom out of the given protons, neutrons, and electrons.
Do you mind sending me the link to that so I can post it on our Facebook group? If you don't mind to send it to me. Yeah, I would love to. If other resources that you might have that work for you, I would love to share that if you don't mind sharing. Yeah.
Yes, Doc.
So how do you feel about it the first month? I know, were you discouraged the first week, or How did you feel? Like, is it different feeling now?
Yes, Doc, because okay, actually during the first few days, the heads up given by the other Filipino teachers helped a lot because na-explain sa amin daw kung paano mag-behave yung mga students.
And you got to see them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that helped you a lot. How many days
Yes.
was it the whole week that you got to observe? How many days did
Yes,
you?
Doc.
Wow. That is very generous of Mr. Simpson to get a sub because usually most schools cannot afford to do that. They usually 1 or 2 days. You'll be lucky to get one. So because they want you to teach immediately because they're trying to save money, you know. So yeah.
And actually, Doc, when I came also, the students are under my class. They were doing like the Apex on the computer, and the next week after that, it's an exam. So it was just timely when I came.
Okay, perfect. And yeah, it really serves you nicely. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
And so now, what are your challenges now? Do you still have any challenge you're still trying to overcome? After a month?
I think still the behavior of the students.
Yeah. What do they do that you don't like? Like, do they talk to each other? What are they doing?
There are students who talk back.
Oh, so how do you handle that?
Actually, I really don't argue with them.
Don't argue with
Because
them.
one
No.
of the Filipinos told me that if I will argue with them, they will keep on talking to me also.
Yeah.
So the commotion will be longer.
They want to show out. Yeah, they want to show out to your friends. I would always handle it where like so and so, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you after class.
Yeah.
And I put their name
I
on the
used to
board
do
so I
that too.
remember. Yeah, I do that, and they know I'm serious about it because I'm like, I wanted to stay behind and talk to me before the next class starts. Yeah, because I need to handle it immediately without embarrassing them in front of their peers. So I think that you handling it by not arguing with them was such a good idea. So then what, do you talk to them later? Do you talk to their parents? What do you do?
Actually, Doc, I talk to them after the class or outside the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And explain to them that I got upset with their misbehavior.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, I encountered one student who doesn't want to have formal conversation with me, so I need to write up. And last week, I was able to speak to his mother because his mother went to school.
Mm-hmm. And then what did she say to you? Did she advise? Did you give you advice to help him, to help you deal with him?
Actually, she went to the school because her son had a broken ankle and he needs to undergo an operation this coming Monday. And she's asking me if how his son could cope with the remaining seat works and the 9th week test. But I told her that our 9th week test was the science project that we had last time. So her son was able to do that. So it's not a problem. The things that he needs to finish are the seat works that he cannot attend inside the physical classroom. And so I gave the physical worksheet also to the admin so that his mother could pick it up.
Yeah. So did you mention anything to the mother on how he behaved?
Yeah, I mentioned actually. I told her everything why I write up.
Why you gave the write up? Yeah.
Well, because actually, Doc, allow me to explain what happened. Her son was lying on the floor.
No. And he is what grade is he?
Grade 11.
Oh, no.
I got angry to him. Actually, I told him to sit down properly because it's not his house. He got angry. He left.
Yeah. And were you like, what tone did you use? Were you sarcastic about it? Were you like serious? What kind of tone did you use?
I was serious because I told him that I will call the police. But actually, I was referring to the security guard, and his classmate told everyone, "Oh, it's not the police. She's trying to tell us about the security guard."
SRO. You need to say SRO.
Okay. Then he left, Doc. Then he was trying to imply that I told him that he needs to go out, but actually I just wanted to tell him that he needs to sit. So I wrote and gave it to the disciplinarian actually about his misbehavior.
Yeah. And so how's your relationship with him now? Is he more friendly now or not?
Actually still aloof with me.
Oh no. Well, he has his surgery. Maybe he can think about it. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, that's one thing that you also need to remember. Kids are going to be allergic to the word police. So you need to make sure you don't use that. You need to say SRO, School Resource Officer, SRO. I need to call SRO so-and-so, or you can call their name. That might be better, because if you say police, that means that I do a crime. You just
actually, Doc, I was just carried by my emotion last time during that time, because I really got angry with him.
Yeah, that's funny. That's like, for laying down on the floor, that's a crime. That would be what he was thinking, that you are like exaggerating, because I'm just laying down on the floor. I didn't hurt anybody. Why are you calling the police on me? That would be, I'm sure his perspective was like that, like you're just overacting or overreacting or something. Do you think that he took it that way?
No, actually, Doc, I also shared that one to our lead teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and Miss Walls, she knew that student and she's aware of the behavior of that student.
Does he have anger management problem? He gets mad easily?
Actually, a bit.
Yeah. Well, he may be shouldering some problems that, he's not sharing. So you may want to also talk to the counselor about it, and see if the counselor would call him in her office and see if she could talk to him about, if there's something bothering him, because you have to remember, kids will not be able to learn unless their amygdala, the emotional part of their brain, is taken care of. And he maybe have problems because that's not normal for somebody to just lay down on the floor. So something has to be bothering this kid. Either a lot of time on that age, it will be their personal life or friendship, or it could be something from home, And so anyway, so you have to, sometimes we have to really understand them. That's why it's good to know your students, right? Knowledge of students is so important. Yeah. And good for you to talk to the mother. And that's what I would suggest to all the teachers, especially when you come here to America, that I always want you to think of the parents as your partners in education, because they will help you a lot. They are, you have to remember, they are sending us their best. They're not hiding. They're not hiding something different. They're at home. They are sending the best kid. That's their kid that they're sending to us. And so if their student is not behaving, that means that we need our partner. We need to call our partner and say, hey, what works at home? What can I do here so that I can support this, your child, so that he can be successful? Because, for example, if you know what the child wants to be, what does his child want to be? Do you know? Does he want to be a doctor? What does he want to be?
Actually, I don't. Honestly, Doc, I don't know.
That's one thing you should do at the beginning of the year, is ask them what they want to be, because I use that a lot to say, hey, you said you said your goal is to be a doctor. Your decision now, does that help you to become a doctor? No, ma'am. And I'm like, well, I wanted to start, acting like you are trying to reach your goal to be a doctor, because doing this is not going to help you become a doctor. So anyway, that's why I want to know. And I posted on the board, at the bulletin board, about, their goals. It's always good to do that, because that's good for you to know, and also include your goals. What are your goals? Is your goal to get your master's degree? The teacher needs to include themselves too, because it's also important for you to know them as well as they know you, right? Because I think he's an outlier though, because I've noticed that your kids really love you. The kids are really crazy about you, so he's an outlier. He's outside the box there. Yeah, but I'm telling you, I really think that child may have some other issues that's bothering him. So yeah, talking to the counselor and telling her the situation, because that is not normal to be just laying down. Something was stressing him out. I had a student when I was teaching elementary, he would do that and would scream to the top of his lungs. And then I found out that this kid was like really dangerous, because he was from this alternative schooling and he has hurt somebody. So I was so concerned, and he was moved again to the alternative school, because I was so afraid if I turn my back and I get hurt, or the students get hurt, but But for the high school, it's their emotional thing, right? So maybe after, especially after surgery, he's gonna have, you know, those anesthesia and all this. He could get worse, but or he could have a time to reflect on his behavior, and he may do better. So I'm hoping for you that he will be better. Any other than that, is that the only isolated incident? Do you not have other issues with other students?
I don't have any other issues now.
That's not bad. That is not bad, because usually there's a study saying that about 10% of your students will be misbehaving. And so how many students are you teaching total? Do you know?
8, more than 80.
So it will be about 8 students could be a misbehavior. And so to have one, that's pretty good. That's 12%.
80 to 100.
Huh? Yeah. So
exact number actually.
Yeah. So so anyway, why am I saying 12%? That's you know, instead of having 8, you only got 1, so that's not bad. Yeah, so 1/8, right? So anyway, so 1/80, less than 2%. But I'm trying to do my math here. But anyhow, Dina, do you have any tips for everybody? Most of these here are still trying to come and apply. What were the things that worked for you when you were still on the other side and applying?
Never give up.
Never give up. Did you apply to a lot of schools?
Yes, when I was working in Thailand, I sent a lot of applications now.
Lots. Okay. What did you do? Go ahead.
Actually, there were times already that I got already job offered and processing my the visa sponsor. So then there's a problem that's why it doesn't want to go through. So I need to search for another school again. So experience like that like twice.
Wow.
So
what was the problem, Dina? What was the problem?
So when I got a job offer at Colorado, I was given a visa sponsor by the district at first. Then since I was working outside the Philippines, that visa sponsor doesn't want to connect with me because I should go back to the home country. So I told the district if I could find a visa sponsor on my own. When I found it already, I tried to connect the visa sponsor into the district, but that district told me that they found another visa sponsor again. So I was redirected with another visa sponsor and their guidance. Then that visa sponsor nag-back out na naman, Doc, sa kaya hindi ako na-push through. Kaya parang na-down talaga ako kasi maraming processes bago makakonect sa visa sponsor, lalo na sa kanilang portal. Tapos iba-iba yung requirements nila.
Right. Well,
so,
yeah. So you're Dina is one of the lucky ones that got the H-1B. So she is on the green card path. There's 4 of them: Mike, Dina, and yeah. Well, see, what happened was I actually specially recommended your names to your principal. So it's so good at timing, because he was asking me, he was recommending one of his houses to have the Filipinos rent. And so at that time I said, hey, Mr. Simpson, do you have any needs for any Filipino teachers? Because I've got a good list. Well, I'm really struggling to find some science teachers. You know, so he mentioned that first, and then he was mentioning Mike's and then so I said, well, I think I have some names. I just got their application. I think I just talked to you guys on Zoom or something, and I remembered freshly that I was really impressed with you guys. So I said, oh, these are the 4 people that really impressed me. I want you to look at them. He said, oh, send me the resumes. And so then when I sent him, I think it was Friday, but that Monday or that next week, he started communicating with you. So what happened there? What did he do? What did he do after I talked to him? Did he email you or call you?
Yes, Doc, he emailed me to schedule an interview.
Yeah, and you must have done well on the interview. What kind of questions did they ask in a science interview?
Actually, Doc, if I remember it properly, it's more on classroom management.
Yeah. He was more concerned about that instead of a content. So
Yeah,
like
it's
what
not
kind of question? How do you handle students what?
like how you handle students who are misbehaving.
And how did you answer it? He must have liked your answer.
Ano ko ba yung sinagot?
You don't remember? Well, you have to share your
Approach the student like have like one-on-one.
Yes.
Proper communication with that student and
Yeah,
explain
proximity.
what
Proximity would be good. You just stand there by them without saying anything. They know you are onto them. Okay. And so one-to-one, that's a good one. Did you say also about the parents involved? That you have to communicate with the parents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the parents, tell the parents or email the parents.
Right. And the last resort should be sending to the principal or write-up. That's your last resort. That means you've tried other things before sending them to the office, right? So he must have liked your answers, the four of you, because he hired all four of you. I was very pleased when he said, Merlina, I'm putting their names to the board and see if they get approved. And so when I saw the names, I'm like, yay. So that was really exciting for me too, that you all got in. So and I was able to talk them into doing H-1B because J1 was gone. So I said, hey, if you really want them this school year and not wait for next school year, there's an option. There's another visa option, and it's going to cost a little more because, in the past, they were not paying for J1 to the others. But on H-1B, the school has to pay for it. Has to pay for it. If it's related to your visa, the school has to pay for it. And so that's why it didn't cost you anything for the visa. So you're lucky duck.
Yes.
Because some of them were doing $3,000-$4,000, right? So you just saved that much. You're welcome. Hi, Dina. Who else is in your car? Dina, who else is in the car with you? I know you're going to Memphis. Who else are in there?
Is April here, April.
Does April mind to talk to us? Hey, Miss April, you're not driving, right? She's not driving. These two are best friends. I touch the hip. They're always together. April, talk to the Zoom participants if you don't mind, April.
Okay.
Hello, Doc. Good morning po.
Good morning. You look good for first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know why I was not able to enter the Zoom, but I can hear you the entire Zoom, Doc. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you have any tips for them? Yeah, I wanted to share some experiences or some tips for those that are still in the Philippines or somewhere else. Not here yet.
Okay, Doc. By the way, good morning to everyone.
The what?
No, Doc. I'm not yet started.
Okay, go ahead.
Walang pa ako na ba? Mauso ang ubo dito eh. Ayun, so siguro po as for me, for those who are still in the Philippines, we were once like you, like sabi nga ni Miss Dina, don't lose hope because months ago, we are also attending Zoom at Doc Merlina. Actually, it was a big help attending the Zoom, just like what I have mentioned before. Like, I am always attending Zoom, even I don't have yet my visa or everything, because I really want to make it sure if this journey is really for me. Like, I wanted to hear stories of Filipinos who are also in the US already. Just like, I want to hear like the real scenario of what is really the life in the US. It's not like, I know that it's not like always a rainbow.
Yeah.
The snow, when you say like US, oh, I like the snow, I want to earn dollar, is not always dollar. It's like what I am always saying is about the proper setting of expectation. That helps me a lot because I know all of us really wanted to earn, right? We all here like want to have a good life in the future, but one thing that we really need to learn is that is going to US really for us. Like for me, I always hear the stories of Miss Leslie, Miss Abby, Miss Jing, Mr. Paneda, who are already here in the US. Like, if you're gonna hear their story, they're not just telling the good side of US and the students here or the entire school system, but they're also sharing like their real life scenario or the real experiences. So with that, you're gonna tell yourself if you're gonna push through it, because that is one of my experience. Like, oh, ganun pala yung buhay doon. Ganun pala yung kakaharapin ko. Doon pala yung mga estudyante. May police pala sa mga school, ganyan. Parang yun yung una kong expression. Like, tutuloy ba ako? Parang yun yung naging ano ko, ma'am, sa sarili ko by that time. Pero hearing their story positively pushed me to continue my journey in US. Really. Until like I have my US visa already. I push it through because of yung expectation na hindi lang to pang snow hindi lang to pang dollars. Like gusto ko talaga na hindi ako natakot, ma'am, na i-push yung ko to US. At least this Zoom really helps me out. Kaya po, for those who are still in the Philippines, even you don't have yet the offer letter, you don't have yet discontinue attending, because you will really learn a lot from the experiences of the teachers who are already here, and with the tips given. Hello.
Yes, we're
by
hearing
Dr.
you.
Merlina as well.
Well, thank you.
Parang nasa biyahe po kasi kami. Ayan, continue attending the Zoom na medyo.
Well, April, thank you for the encouragement. But April, I want you to talk about how hard it is to be a mother and your kids are in the Philippines. Talk about that, because I know that upsets you a few times. To talk about that, if you don't mind.
Yes, ma'am. Being away from your family is very, very, very hard. Especially me, first time OFW, ma'am. It takes time to have the courage of, deciding talaga if I'm gonna push it through without my family here. But good thing that we are really in a good path we're in. Ang ginawa ko na lang mindset, in a few months or few years, we can be together naman here, so they can follow me. And actually, ma'am, to tell you honestly, because of the support system here in the US, here in Helena, specifically where I am in, because of the support system of my Filipino colleagues here, I was not able to experience what do they call that?
Depression.
The homesick, ma'am, for your family. And
because
the homesick for your because they were very supportive, and nalilibang ka, ma'am. Malilibang ka kasi ang dami dito yung support, especially from you, ma'am. Like when I came here just for my first week, I've been to your place already. We met the whole family, and we've been to Texas already for my first week. So I was not able to make drama at all that time. So that's what I am always telling my friends, na after a week, tsaka ko palang ata, ma'am, na-realize, ay, nasa US na pala. Hindi nga pala ako, parang gano'n.
Well, you did very well adjusting, but I remembered hearing your kids, one of your kids was sick or crying when we were in Dallas, and that kind of tore my heart. I'm like, oh, poor April,
Yes, that was my first week that we were in Dallas that time. Like when I talked to them, my youngest baby boy got sick.
Yeah.
And then it was really a heartbreaking moment for us, like OFW mommy. But I just put it in my mind that would not take long.
Yeah.
And my parents make sure naman po the baby is okay, kaya I was relieved also that time.
Yeah.
And tuloy ang buhay, and ang ko lang, ma'am, hindi naman talaga siya pang permanent.
Yeah.
So darating yung time that I can get them and they will be here also.
Yeah. So what is your timeline? What were you thinking that you want to apply for them?
Yeah, actually, ma'am, before I was planning to get them all. Pero I just realized like my baby boy is too young. So maybe we will have it, we'll find it hard kung sabay-sabay sila. So I was planning like my husband will be here this summer, and then I'll go visit the Philippines next summer to get them. So that time, hopefully we're stable and we have our house already, we have the car, and my husband by that time has work already, so we will not find it hard to to adjust here.
That's a smart move. Sounds like a smart move. How old are your kids, April?
My eldest, ma'am, my twin girls are going 6 this July, and the baby boy is 1.5. So, if I'm gonna get them by next year, so we'll just have like one car seat. I need only one car seat, but if I'm gonna get them today or this summer, I need 3.
Yeah, you're right.
I need a school bus, ma'am. I need a school bus, not a car, not just a car.
Yeah. Hey, April, you might have also thought of, I don't know if you've thought about like what Johnson did while her mama is on tourist visa, so that babysitting the baby. Are you planning to do that?
Yes, ma'am. I'm actually putting that into consideration as well, ma'am. Like next year, I'll be the one to go home, or I'll apply my parents as tourist visa, so they can come in also.
How old are they?
72, ma'am.
Okay, well, they should be, I think when they're older, they seem to have a better chance of coming in because they, yeah, but if you bring both of them here, you need to show that they have a reason to go back. That's why her mom was approved, because they have a husband that was left in the Philippines.
Only
one. Go back. But if it's the two of them, you need to show that you have some other kids there that they will miss, or some tie to the Philippines. Because if you can establish that, they're gonna say, "Oh, you're not gonna come back. Magtago-tago ka na." Yeah. Tawag nila dito TNT. Tago ng tago.
Okay, TNT.
Yeah, you don't want a TNT. Yeah. But anyway, but thank you, April, for sharing that, because that is and it is true. You've got so much good support there, because you're like, your house, every time I go there, you look like having a fiesta all the time. You're having so much fun doing things together. Yeah, you always go to Walmart together, go to the shopping together. Is that what you're doing right now? Going to your groceries?
Yes, ma'am. We usually go together most of the time because cost efficient,
Yeah, that's smart. And you're using which car? Is that Mike's new car?
Yes, ma'am. This is Sir Mike's brand new car here. He is actually driving right now. That's why he is not soon. And beside him is Mr. Edison Paneda, ma'am.
Yeah,
who is also going with us.
Hi, Dr. Edison. He needs to turn
Dr.
around
Edison.
so we could see space.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Doc. How are you?
Yeah. Hello po, Ninang Do. Good morning.
Hi, yung godson ko. Hey, kumusta yung asawa mo? How's your wife?
Dito ka na lang pare.
How is your wife?
Okay, she's doing good po, Doc. Moving here is last week of July because her first duty is
Hang on, did I lose everybody? Hi, Giselle, do you mind muting everybody but Edison, please?
Sige.
Okay.
Good morning po and good evening to those viewers from the Philippines. Yeah, actually my wife is doing right there with them, and thank God she got the offer already at the Regional Medical Center, and she will be moving here in Arkansas last week of July.
Last week of July. All right.
Yes, the first day of her contract would be on the 1st of August here in Arkansas.
Okay. So are you looking for a house now? Have you found one?
Yes, Doc, we're on the process of looking. It's very challenging really to find a house here in Americans and here in Canada because majority of the houses are for sale, and for now we can afford to buy a house here.
Well, because you're both H-1B though, because you're both green card path, I think you are allowed to buy a house if you have your credit established. You can, instead of renting one, you may be able to buy a small house.
Actually, though, that is also one of our plans, but for now, it's not yet advisable for ATL because she will be buying her contract in North Carolina for around $10,000.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very hard. Yes, we're still struggling financially right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's understandable. Yeah. Well, I'm just glad that she found a job though.
Yes, though. God is so good.
Yeah, being a nurse and a teacher, that you're not doing bad, making more than 100,000 together, more than that. So that's awesome. Yeah.
Yes, though.
Yeah, that's awesome. How about Mike? What is Mike, when is your family coming? Did you say August?
Yes, Doc. No po, Doc. This coming June 6 po,
Uy.
they will be coming here.
Oh my God, that's so
Yes
fast.
po.
Soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have to bring them over to
It's
Salem.
almost
because-
3 weeks, almost 3 weeks. 3 weeks to go po.
Well, bring them to Salem
they
so
will
that I
be-
could meet them. Yeah.
No problem, Doc.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to fetch them in the Memphis airport, but I'm going to meet them in Philadelphia airport.
You are? Why?
Yeah, because I'm going to I'm going to have first a day tour in New York because the airfare is too expensive. It's 421. So if I'm going to wait only in Philadelphia for a day, so iko ko na lang po, libusin ko na yung oras. So the same price lang naman po yung ticket, yung plane ticket. So gala-gala muna po.
It's already reached the
Yeah, sounds like it. It sounds like he's just over there spending money. Hey, Mike, do you know that you can make sure that the airline that you're buying tickets, you know, you need to make sure you have their miles program so you can get free tickets eventually. So you use the miles.
Yes po, yes po.
Yeah.
But I used my my friend's account po in Qatar Airways po.
Yeah.
And also I'm busy po repairing the house, my apartment po.
You found an apartment already?
Yes po, Doc.
Yung low income one, you found one? Or no?
Hindi po, Doc. In a Pine Tree apartment po, 500 per month, free po ang tubig. And then, but there's no washer and dryer po. Pero sabi ko sa banda-banda dyan na lang po because ang kuha naman po, ang paglalaban naman po is not daily. Good thing po, there's a ref and a stove naman po doon. Then, 2-story po siya. Ang beds po nasa taas, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath po, a full bath, and then half bath po sa baba po.
That's not bad, but you need to ask ask the owner or the manager if they could, if you buy the washer and dryer, can they get it installed? I mean, is that possible? Because it make your life easier, especially with your kids, you know, to have it handy there. You need to ask them because those washer and
yes,
yeah. See if you first you need to find a place where you would put it. And then you show them like, hey, if I buy the washer and dryer, is it okay if we get it installed here? You know, because that's what.
Yes, ma'am. Willing. They are very willing naman po.
Okay. Yeah, I would recommend that, Mike, because we used to own a washer and a laundromat, and I see how it's so hard for people to like be there middle of the night and and all this, and in some areas it might not be safe as well. And now Salem would be safe, but anyway, but I just think that it's more handy to have it. Yeah.
Yan ang gusto ko, sir.
What did you say?
Yes po, Doc.
His-
I saw my dream car po, yung kulay.
what model is it?
It's Seltos po. Kia Seltos, yung yellow one.
Okay.
Yes po.
He's being an ADD over here. But anyway, Well, thank you for talking to us.
Yeah.
And is there anything that you want to tell them, Mike? Is your situation a special ed?
Yes po.
better?
In special education po, I know that is a challenging one because some of my post-sped teachers, they're telling me that today I'm petics lang, but next school year, it will be the real battle po because of some of the paperwork. And also this coming summers, I have a lot of trainings in Hot Spring, June 21, 20 and 21, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. And then last week of July, I also have a training po. Those are all about special education.
Wow. You need to take your wife to the training because it's kind of like a little vacation for you guys. See if you can have somebody babysit.
Yes po. Yeah, that's also my plan po. And the district is very generous. They will provide me a separate room for us.
Yay.
And I'm not expecting that because when they asked me how many beds or what type of beds I want, I told them, okay, I want only queen bed because I'm only alone. But Miss Burgess told me, no, sir, bring your family there. So we will provide you two bedrooms. Two beds.
Nice. They're very thoughtful. That's good. They know that they're coming and you're excited to see them. So yeah, that's a little vacation for them. Hot Springs is a nice place, Mike. You need to check, there's a wax museum there. You need to check, just kind of walk around town. And then if you can have time to do the bath and the massage thing for your wife, facial, that's a really good pampering day for her. And it could be a couple's massage too. But anyway, I think for the women, the best thing to do in Hot Springs is the massage and the bath and all this. They're famous for that, parang healing the bath, very hot spring bath. So yeah, so people travel from all over the world to come to that. So if you're already there, you need to take advantage of it. And of course, merong casino dyan. They have, I don't remember what they call it, but anyway, something racing anyhow. So I think I've lost them. Let me see. Did I lose them, Giselle? They got stuck.
Leslie is here, Doc.
Okay, Leslie. Hey, Les, what's up with you, Les? When are you coming here?
Hi,
Les?
ma'am. I'm sorry. We woke up late and now we're trying to go to a state sale.
Oh, sounds fun.
There's a state sale here in Marble, so we're trying to go to that state sale because last time we went to the state sale and we were able to get a very nice dresser and a bed.
Yeah.
So
you have to remember that they're like the Philippines, that you can actually bargain with those.
Yeah,
don't pay the price. Yeah, make sure
and
you
we were able to get Jing was able to get 50% off with the dining table that she has, and
yeah,
that was really great.
If they're desperate to get rid of it, just offer them
Yeah.
something like half. Yeah, if they said no, that's too low.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get in because I was like, oh my god, it's a Zoom. There's a Zoom meeting today, and I need to come in. By the way, Ate Abby is here too.
Oh, hey Abby, how are you doing? I'm excited.
We're actually doing great. They're all excited because she just signed her contract in Barton, so she will be moving with me and the rest of the group. And thank you, ma'am, for well, you're one of the reasons that it happened.
No, I think they were gonna do it anyway because they love you to death.
Yeah, they they love me and they love all of everybody that is around me. So
they do.
Thank you, ma'am. I thank you because if you did not help me, though, they will not love me as much as they do right now.
But the Alvin, are they hiring her husband too, Alvin?
Yeah, Kuya Alvin has signed his contract too already, and they will put him together with Junior, so he will not be lonely. So Junior and Alvin's gonna be together. Wow. And I think Miss Marissa's husband, he came in yesterday to the district office, and Mr. Guthrie talked to him, and he said that anytime that he gets his SSN, he will be hired immediately.
Wow, you have been blessed there. That you have such
yes,
admin.
Yes, and they keep on saying that we are a family in here, and whoever is your family, that's also our family.
Oh, you're so cool, right?
Yeah, they are. They
Yes,
are all so cool, and I'm just so happy that I was, God heard my prayers, and he placed me somewhere in a place where, you know, they love us and they love everybody around us. And I'm just so thankful because you're gonna be there next year again, and I think Abby will get to see you.
Hi, do you know that I
You will
actually
get-
talked to Mr. Guthrie, Dr. Guthrie, now your superintendent, that hey, I need to come more than once a month, because if
What
Abby
did he
can be
say about
added,
it?
well, let's look at the budget first.
Well, I think he's gonna do it, especially if, you know, Miss Megan and Miss Debbie are gonna if they're gonna say yes, and he will definitely do it.
Yeah,
And I
hope
think
so.
they're the one who's
In
you know,
charge of that part, yeah.
yeah. But I think they're gonna do it especially if we talk to them. Like if we talk to Miss Megan and Miss Debbie and tell them that, you know, half day is not really enough. We need more time with Dr. McCullough, especially that I think Abby is here now. So I think they're gonna do that.
I hope so. Yeah.
And we will start talking to them. I will. And well, I think Abby will help me with that one too. And I think Miss Marisa will also help me with that one. But Miss Marisa yesterday was like really sad because she was like, I don't have anybody with me in the high school.
Well, I have given them some names to of the high school though, because they were needing some, but they said they already kind of hired. I mean, already.
They have a lot of applicants, ma'am. Like there are teachers from Morville, from Palestine that came in. And they were interviewed, and I think they have a lot of applicants because they are like one of the schools who has the highest, you know, salary grade among these in this area. So I think that's why. So getting, you know, hiring Filipinos is not really their priorities right now. It's not one of their priorities right now. So yeah.
You're lucky to get
But
it.
Yeah, I'm just happy. It's really timely, and Ate Abby was able also to you know, convince her visa sponsor to let her go. But yeah, and then her superintendent's really nice too. They let her go also, but because Mr. Godfrey called them and talked to them about it. It's all fine now. We're gonna be together. You know, we're just sharing one vehicle and a house, so it's quite practical to stay in one place, to teach in one place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk to Abby about her plans about going back to maybe pick one of the kids, bring one of the kids home here. Is that what she's doing this summer?
Yeah, I'll give the phone to her. Yes, ma'am. I'll take off my I'll put my, because I'm using my AirPods. I'm gonna give this to Abby so she can talk to you.
Okay. Hi, Zora.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi. Hey, talk to us about your trip to the Philippines this summer.
Wait. Could you say it again, ma'am?
Are you still going back to the Philippines to get one of the kids?
I am still going back. My flight is on the 3rd of June. However, Aisha's hasn't arrived yet. So I'm still waiting for it, and I can't wait, because this is a surprise. Let me check if my cousin Betsy or Giselle is here.
I'm here.
Oh no, Giselle, I just messed up. I'm so sorry, Abby. I forgot that it was a surprise. So sorry. So Giselle, you cannot say anything to anybody, Giselle.
Yes,
Okay?
I promise.
You have to be part of this group now of not saying anything. So Abby, I apologize for that. I forgot that you said that you were.
No worries. I was just, but I know. Anyway, Giselle is one of my bestest friends, so
you'll not say anything. So yeah, you want it to be a surprise still. I'm so sorry I ruined it. But anyway.
That's fine. Yeah, anyway, I'll be going back home. My flight is the 3rd of June, and I'm still waiting for my daughter's DS-2019. So I was actually starting to book an appointment for her interview at the embassy. However, I can move on and go on with the application because I still need her papers. So I actually contacted our visa sponsor, and he replied that because I am transferring to another host school, probably the DS 2019 that they'll have for my daughter will be sent together with my new DS 2019.
Okay. Well, hopefully, are they aware about your flight date? Flight information?
Say it again, ma'am.
Did you give them some your itinerary so they know that there is a time element involved?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, they need to know that you have time, you have specific time that you're going to be.
Actually, one of their policies when they're transferring to another school is they will only issue the new DS 2019 in summer.
Okay. Well, June is already
Yeah.
summer. How long will you be in the
So-
Philippines, or did you leave it open?
I let it open. I
Yeah.
haven't booked my flight back yet.
Yeah, I think that's smart because you don't know when they're going to release it. It's going to be digital, right? You can just access it from where you are in the Philippines. They're going to be.
They'll be sending I think a really hard copy to our address here, and I'll just ask when it gets here.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm excited for you. That's so awesome. You have to go to Tabuan to get some buwad, right?
Of course, that's the first priority.
You need to get those big ones.
We were
huh?
actually thinking buying ginamos.
Oh,
We were actually also thinking buying ginamos.
yeah.
You
and
know,
then-
the one lapad.
yeah.
And I told Dusty, I will be bringing two bottles of those ginamos, but we will just use it as appetizer. Those
Yeah.
2 bottles will be will be consumed for 1 whole year.
You're
Dili
funny.
sud anon, appetizer pampagana lang sa kaon.
Hey, Abby, do you know that you can actually order it from here, Joey? You using We or something? Ask Camille. She orders a Filipino foods through We, and it's free shipping.
Wow.
Yeah. So you need to ask her about the number or the link or whatever, because she said she orders those things like that online. So, and it gets shipped to you, and as long as you spend $80 or something, everything will be shipped for free. And that's
Wow,
easy to
okay.
do. Yeah.
Well, thanks for the info, ma'am.
Yeah. And also you might want to wrap it up in those bubble wrap thing. That way it won't break, right? And wrap it really
Yes,
well. in
ma'am.
the
Yes,
bubble wrap.
ma'am.
Yeah. Do more than
Yeah.
2. My gosh, Abby, if your daughter's coming with you, there's going to be a lot of luggage in, that you are going to be allowed. So get more than 2. get 2 per luggage, or just make sure that you don't put it in your carry-on, because they will confiscate it in Manila. So if you do not put it in your carry-on, you have to put it in your check-in. And then when the border agent asks you, do you have anything to declare? Tell them I have dried fish.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because some people that do not declare it, they might take it away. So make sure you declare it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so excited for you. That's awesome.
I am actually counting the days. Like I can't sleep at night. I'm thinking like I'm dreaming like I'm on the plane already, traveling to the
Oh.
Philippines.
No, you have to shop for the kids now for their pasalubong.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're actually starting buying things, chocolates
Oh,
and
cool.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, just put it in the refrigerator, it won't melt. But anyway, because did you say that the chocolate flavor in the Philippines and the US different? Is that what you
Yes,
said?
a lot different. Mas
Better?
dami ang chocolates it tastes much better. Chocolates in America. Chocolates here
Really?
in America tastes way much better than in the Philippines. I think probably because chocolate in the Philippines are so sweet that probably they're using artificial sweeteners to those.
Yeah,
But here you can really tell the milk chocolate that it tastes really good.
Yeah, well, Abby, there's also a tax-free place where I think you have a week when you arrival that you can go to those tax-free places. There's one in that, I think the waterfront casino inside it, they have a big tax-free thing. And these chocolates came from America because it's tax-free, but you have to use your passport. You have to bring your passport to show when you arrived. So
Okay, ma'am.
so if you run out of them, if you're short of them, you need to check that out, because I did check it out when I stayed there for 5 days, and that's why I didn't know that there's a difference, because it was still coming from America. There was no difference to me, and I never ate it from anywhere else, just from the tax-free place.
Yeah, so
yeah.
you can't tell the difference yet.
Yeah, I could not, because they came from America. These tax-free things are American products. So anyway, so I think next time I go, I'm gonna have to make sure I try the local ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, All right. Well, it's nice visiting to you guys, and appreciate all that you do, and that your schools, schools love you. So you're doing amazing. And you
Thank you so much. Like, you're one of the reasons why I am transferring because Lee County can't get you, so I'll go to where you are.
Oh, you're so sweet. Oh yeah, I'm excited to be able to see your classroom too, because the other school did not have a contract with me. And I tried, but they never did contact me back. So it's okay. Do you know Clarendon? They will have 2 Filipinos coming, and they have already contacted me that they want me to come. Just like they said, do what you do, like with Brinkley and them, So I said, okay, well, I'll send you a contract. So anyway, so I have an additional school. So
wow, so happy for you.
yeah. But we'll see about Brinkley and Helena. I do not know about budget, with all this $50,000 per teacher. They may be short, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm not, So anyhow, well, thank you again. You said where this Marvel is where the estate sale is, and did they?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're actually close to. This is actually our 3rd time.
Oh wow. You have a list of what you need, because you can end up with a bunch of stuff and you might be not fitting in your house.
We are actually looking at the dining set, because our table there, our dining table there. So we're actually looking at it.
Okay.
And it cost like probably 200, because Jing's dining set was 200 and it was less 50%. So she paid 100 for it. But today they only have 20% off today. Tomorrow would be 50%.
Oh, okay.
But it might be gone tomorrow. So.
But would it fit in your car, or are you gonna ask Jing to bring her truck?
We'll ask Jing. Yeah. I think we're here.
Okay. Well, I better let you enjoy it then. Thank you so much, Alden and Janar and Exora.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for
Hello.
everything.
Bye.
We're gonna see you soon.
Okay, see you. Are you coming this coming weekend or next one? Are you attending Marie Chris's party? If you're attending,
we are, because
then
we
you have to come after.
just one. I mean, I will be, the party that we'll be having in whose house was it? Marie. I'm one of the celebrants. I celebrate. My birthday is on the 26th, together with, I celebrate birthday the same as Nanay. So we'll be there. And then on the 28th, I'm one of the, ninongs. Yeah. So I'll be with Miss Marcus. But I think before Ate Abby can, will depart for the Philippines, we'll be going to your place first.
Okay. Hi, Christine.
Yeah, we have to visit you first.
Okay, well, Christine, supposed to be my proxy if I'm still on the list of ninangs. So if you don't mind to check it for me. She volunteered to be my proxy. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And we're gonna see you soon. We love you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye,
Love
ma'am.
you.
Bye, ma'am.
We miss you.
Bye. Yeah. Have fun. Don't spend too much money.
We will try.
Okay, bye.
Bye, ma'am. Bye.
So Giselle, here's your relatives, Giselle.
Yes, Doc.
Yeah. I'm so sorry about breaking her surprise. Messing it up.
I won't tell her parents, Doc.
Yeah, don't tell her parents or anybody else, really.
Yes, Doc.
Yeah. So who else do we need to talk to? We have about 30 minutes. So who else do we need to talk to that's willing to talk? Did they type their name on chat?
Yes, Doc. I think it's Mom. First is Mom Milima.
Who?
Okay.
Lorlian.
Okay, Lorlian. I've talked to you before, haven't I?
Yeah. I messaged you about I was hired in Missouri, so you asked me if I can be in this zone tonight. Yes.
Oh, good job.
I just personally thank you. Yes, for all the insights, the tips. I was really able to use them because I was able to attend twice for the Zoom meeting, and this is my 3rd time. So all those 2 meetings, I really did take down notes. Hello, all the tips that you give to us.
Yeah.
So I was able to use them during the interview with the.
Yeah. What kind of questions did they ask? Can you share? Do you mind sharing?
Okay. The first question they asked me was about how did you become a teacher?
Oh, that's easy,
Yes,
right?
that's really so. I started it out from, it was a very long story, and all of them were smiling
Oh,
until I shared it to them. Also, I guess one of the best part there was when I shared to them that when I was already teaching when I was already in USJR, there was this teacher of mine, because I was very naive and coming from a very, very far place in Eastern Samar. So I was very quiet, and everybody there, they knows each one. While me, I was just alone. I was seated at the back, and there was this teacher of mine who wrote something on my paper, and she said, you know what, there is Lorlene, you know what? I find you to be smart, but the only thing I don't understand is that why you keep so quiet in your seat. You know what, darling, you can make it, and I hope to see you doing great. So from there on, my my trust in myself, it was boosted, and then that's the time that I really did good in my studies in
wow.
USTR. So I really shared it to them, and I told them that that I really wanted to become a teacher, but because of the teacher, the thing that I want to become a teacher was more intensified.
Yeah, very
And
good.
that's it. And I also shared to them how I committed to the Lord, that because I forgot to, because after after my graduation, I was hired in a non-government organization. So I got so busy with my job, and then I forget to take a review. So it's only 1 month before, which I realized that, oh my God, I haven't had my review, and yet the exam is coming. So what I did, they were smiling. Everybody was smiling to me, 5 of them, the panelists. So when I said every day within that 1 month, I went to church, knelt down to the Lord, and asked him, my God, Lord, please help me pass this exam. I promise I will commit myself to be the best teacher that I can be. And they were clapping. And he said, that's great. That's great. Because,
God, I'll do my best. Please do the rest.
like that, and so they were really laughing, and the head of the science department were really, she was really, oh, really, really. So I just hope they were really just that enough that they enjoyed my sharing.
You know what the thing is, and I've read a lot about interviews. They said that in an interview, you should do what you did, like you just visiting with them, you're sharing stories with them, you just be comfortable, and you just like visiting a friend or a family.
Yes,
that's what
that's
you should do. Yeah,
Yes, that's
relax,
actually
right?
what I did.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's how I nailed the first question. So the principal, I always hear the principal said, very good, very good, very good. So I'm like, oh my God, it's always positive.
Yeah, they
And then
they already made up their mind, like, yeah, I think this one is it. They may be
and
thinking
then
about that.
the second question is, what is that? I think the second question is, how many students do you have in your class? So I said, sir, I have, as of now, I have 30 to 35 students. In my own advisory class, I have 33 students. In some classes, I have 30, 35 students. And everybody said, oh, that's really a lot. I said, yes, ma'am. But before that, before pandemic, we were handling more than double the size of what we have now.
Wow.
We were handling 50 to 65 students. And they said, oh. And then suddenly the prince, so how many classes are you handling? So I said, 5. Oh, that's really very hard, they said. And then I said, yes, sir, but we have to do them because that's part of our job. And then he counted, and then suddenly he said, the third question is, with 180 students that you have, how do you finish the day smoothly?
Oh dear. Yeah. So how did you do that? What did you say?
I said, sir, my day is always, now after pandemic, my day is always very good because we can handle them. That's 180 is very manageable because we were trained to handle, I said double the size. So 180 is so easy for us to handle.
Yeah. Because in America, in Arkansas, we have a limit of 150 total. We cannot give a teacher more than 150. And then you cannot have more than 30 too. Than 30 because a bunch of 30 is the limit in a room. And but if they're younger, like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, they have to be smaller number as well. 20, 22 maybe. But there's a number that you cannot pass over for the smaller kids. So but the older kids, you can do 30. But that's very rare. You can hardly find in, like when I observe teachers, like the teachers already here, most of the biggest that I saw was maybe 20. Nobody's having more than 20. It seemed like at one time. But anyhow, but most of the high school, they have 4, 5, 7, 10, they have something like that. So it's very small. It doesn't fill up the room, because yeah. But if you go to a very big school, like a capital of a state, for example, in Little Rock, Arkansas, that's the capital, you will have maximum. So, you might get better pay, but you also have more work because they will give you the maximum number. Yeah.
Okay.
I have worked in a school where they did give the teachers Mountain Home, which is 45 minutes from here. My sister lives there, and we do give them the maximum number. We have to make sure that we don't go over 150, just because, because they will check on that. The Department of Education, they would have like more of a standards visit, like, they check on everything, make sure that, you're following all the guidelines. And one of the guidelines is the number, that you don't go over 30 and you don't go over 150 per teacher. That's the limit.
Okay.
And special ed would have a smaller limit. They have, I think maybe 9 or 8, I don't know, less than 10 for the special ed per class. So yeah, so they have, if you start having extra, you have to hire an aide, or they call them paraprofessional here. Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously you had aced that one. Were there any questions other than that, or
Actually, it took us more than an hour. I think
you just visited with
yes,
them.
more than an hour, and 5 of them. And the third question, or the fourth question, I guess it said, how do you manage the unruly students? So these are students who keeps on bothering his or her classmates inside while you are having your discussion. So I just told them, usually, sir, what I did in my class is I just stop talking or something, what I do in the front, and then I just pretend to call the attention of the child. If he keeps on talking with her classmate, or, bothering him, I pretend that he wants to say something.
Do you want to say
So
something?
I tried to call him, like, Gerald, I heard you. Do you want to say something to share to us? And then if he said no, so I have to remind him that, okay, you can keep quiet. And then if you want to say something in that, like that. And then if I told him also that it depends on the degree of the disturbance that the child is doing. So I think if he keeps on repeating that actions of him, so I might give sit work right away to my, not just to make them busy, the whole class, and then call silently the child, and then talk to him at the back, and then do something, analyze what you said to us, what you shared to us, know the problem, know the child, know the problem, and try to assess him on what's the best thing. And then I really used that, Doc, and the principal said, very good, that's what we really wanted to see from a teacher that's doing that. I said, oh my God, Doc Merlina.
I'm so glad that you answered it. That was exactly what I would have wanted.
Yeah.
You respect the child. You're disciplined with dignity is what it is. You are not embarrassing the child. Yeah.
It's really nice to keep down notes when having this kind of, sharing of what to do and what not to do. I also did not mention that I do have plan to bring my family. I never mentioned that because I got one interview before wherein I mentioned that time come that I will bring my family or my kids because I wanted them to stay or to study in the US. But this time I didn't mention that.
Yeah,
because
I think that's smart not to mention. You know why? Because in their mind, they are afraid you might ask them to pay for it.
Yes,
they're thinking of the budget. And although you have to pay for it yourself, but they think that they might not know that, that they don't pay for that. And so they might be afraid that, oh, it's going to take us more money. So, if it's personal, don't share. Yeah.
Yes.
You can share it later when you get close to them and, you're employed and you're close to them, you're visiting, that's fine. But during the interview, avoid personal things.
Yes. That's maybe one mistake I had before with my first interview because I mentioned something, because it's just like I'm talking to my friend when I'm sharing these things to them. And with that, the next question is, what kind of activities are you going to share with your students having this large size? And so I mentioned to them that I have to differentiate the activities and I give them examples on what to do, and then separating or grouping this kind of students, this kind and this kind. And so there was another follow-up question of, so how are you going to give them an activity that is only one activity wherein nobody will be left behind You are not going to differentiate the activities. So I told them, sir, we have a lot of activities we can give to this kind of students. You know, in my class, sometimes I make them role play. Sometimes the low performers, they can do like the actors, like blah blah blah. And so yeah, and then they keep, oh yeah, that's really nice. And then I said also a lot of we have to consider as teachers the multiple intelligences. So
Oh,
in
good
this kind
job.
of, yeah, and and so I said maybe this kind of, I really have the reporting. They can assign this kind of students, and then the brilliant one who are really good in talking, they can do the reports. I mean the reporting style, and so others who can, like that, draw the drawing, etc., etc. So we said, oh yeah. So can you bring me to your classroom? That's another question. And so I really started that. Here in the Philippines, we do the prayer first before, but I understand that in your country we might not do it. But this is how we do it. So from the start until the end. And then I guess there are a lot still of questions. Some I don't remember anymore, but there was that question that really gave light to me when the assistant principal told me na, if we are going to hire you, I said, really, sir, you are really going to hire me? Oh my God. They were laughing because I really make them feel that I am really excited to become part of their, and I told them that, you know what, sir, when I received your email yesterday, I right away search for the best practices that you have in your school. And I'm very happy that you are very active in sports. And I really like that. And I mentioned some, like that. And they were really laughing. You really search for our school? Yes, sir, because I'm very interested in your school. So I really wanted to become part of your teaching force. And then I also mentioned to them that, you know what, sir, to teach in the US is really a dream for me. Because when I was a teacher, just to let you know, if I learned that education is one of the greatest greatest influence that you had in our educational system. That your educational system was one of the greatest influence in our educational system. And everybody said, really? Yes, sir. And also a lot, and then I mentioned that. So I really want to become part of the teaching force of the great America. So I know with all the support that you are giving to the teachers, sabi ko, especially to us, the Filipinos, who is a very good friend of your country, it would really be a big opportunity for us, a very big, how was this? How I said that it would really give us a great honor to be teaching in your, and sharing also our experiences and.
Well, you said everything right. If I were listening to you, I would hire you too. So good job. Yeah, good job. You did a good job. So where did you learn about the multiple intelligences? Did you get that from Zoom too? Or did you already have?
Yes, you also mentioned that, and it was also stressed during our schooling in USGR. There are 9 multiple intelligence. We are always reminded of these things, and also in our meetings. So I always love to write everything.
Yeah,
so
sounds like you did well, and you really referred to the 5 core proposition: knowledge of students, knowledge of content, assessment, reflection, and collaboration. You really addressed them. You didn't mention much about the reflection part, but yeah, collaboration.
Yes, ma'am, the reflection part. So I said to them, so how do you like? They asked me to go through with my class. So I bring them like, this is one of the most favorite lessons I give to my students, the lesson on food chains. So I told them that I give them a play. They move outside and they serve like, eating and eating each other. So they serve these kind of roles like the cat, the dog, or the grasshopper. And then when we go back to the classroom, this is what happened. I give them the best valuing, because I let them realize that those who went outside from their game are their parents or the breadwinners, and sometimes you can see that sometimes they cannot go home anymore. And these are the roles of our parents. When they go out from their homes, there is no assurance that we can go home safe. So I told them, you have to value your parents. They go out just for us, to feed for us or to feed for you. So you have to value. And I told them that most of my students were crying, and parents were asking me why their child, because I let them write a letter to their parents, letter of gratitude. So there was really a great improvement on the behavior or relationship of these students to their parents. And this is one of the best lessons that I am always excited to give to my students. I cannot hear you, Ma'am, now.
My husband was answering a phone to our son, so I had to mute it while I'm listening to you. But anyhow, so I really think that you aced it. You really did. You said the right words, you said the right examples, you were visiting with them, and just really sounds like you were just comfortable with them. And that is the key to it, is that once you are comfortable, then your mind will relax and you can actually look for answers in your head, you know. But if you are so nervous, then that nervousness is going to block your, you know, that amygdala part will block it, and it will not let you, you know, think about what the answer could be. And I think reviewing, which particular handout that you reviewed, did you do the handout about the PowerPoint preparing for interview? Is that what you reviewed? Which
no,
one
I did not know. Basta I just look at it on the notes that I get it from you here. That's all, because that day it was, you know, I get an email today afternoon, and then the interview was tomorrow afternoon, and we were so busy in school, right? Really very busy. So I prepared it right away when I arrived in school, because the interview was very early, 8 o'clock here in the Philippines. So I guess I have a very good principal, because he really considers my time. Not for me to get late at night, to get late sleep. And then when I was already a little bit nervous, so I have this Nazareno in front, the altar. And I look at Nazareno and I said, Lord, you know, I am not prepared this time. I just look at these notes of Doc Merlina, because it was here on my table. And I just raised all these things for you. Ikaw na yung bahala sa akin, Lord. And I cried when I talked to him. Sabi ko, ikaw na talagang bahala, Lord, sa akin. Sabi ko sa kanya, I am not prepared only these notes I am handling, you know. Alam mo naman na pag nagtrabaho ako, ginagawa ko talaga yung best ko. So, if this is for me, ikaw na yung bahala sa akin. I really get that sign. So
he's in control, not you. You pretty much gave it to him. Like, you're not in, I'm not in control, you are. Which is good. That to help you relax that way too. When you do that,
Doctor.
help you relax.
It was only the notebook that I had before the interview. When I opened the web, I was the first one, because I was 15 minutes ahead and they were not yet there. And then the connection got lost. So I got rattled. And then I just look at the notebook and then keep on looking the Nazareno and said, Lord, if this is for me, it's up to you. I will take this. And So sabi ko sa kanya, I hold on to what you said, that when the time is right, I will make it happen. So I'm holding it now for you, Lord. And then suddenly the connection get back.
And
I said, okay.
How many people were there? How many people in the panel?
Five.
The
That's kind of scary. The assistant principal, the science department head, the HR, and one was, I forget who was the fifth one.
Did you send a thank you? Did you say a thank you note to the one that sent you an interview?
Yes, I remember that from you.
Right
away, because Doc, after the interview, the principal emailed me, can you send me a lesson plan of yours? And I don't have it here at home. So I just said, yes, I will send it to you right away, sir. And then so I keep on, I did my lesson plan. So sabi ko, and I did it. I think I did 2 lesson plans on biology and chemistry. So after which I emailed that, because we finished the interview by 9 o'clock. So I finished the plan at 12 o'clock. And so I told him, sorry, sir, I don't have the current lesson plan I have here, but I have here the previous, because he might wonder why it took long for me. Sabi ko, I keep on searching it, but I have here my old plans last January, so I am sending it to you now. So and it's great. And after which, the next day, there was an email from him that we are really excited to be to hire you, and we're excited for you to be here in our school.
Wow, describe that feeling. Were you jumping up and down? Did you cry?
I keep on crying, and I really look up, Lord, this is really for me. So, oh my goodness, Nazareno, and I really keep on crying. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to to feel this is the first time I already had 3 interviews, and one was just waiting for my teaching certificate, but I didn't go through with it in Arizona. So, you know,
It's
I
meant for
think this
you.
one is really, really for me.
Missouri though, how far? What's the name of the town?
It's St. Joseph.
Oh, St.
District.
Joseph. Yeah, that's a good,
Yeah.
that's a good place. Yeah, and that's only that's a few hours from me. I could actually drive there.
Yeah, actually, I checked that. I checked that.
What did it say? 5 hours? Was it 4 or 5 hours?
But it's 4 hours only.
4 hours, yeah. It's like going to Helena, yeah.
Yes.
We'll have to see you.
The principal got so with the last question, they told me, do you have any question for us? I go, yes, sir. If you don't mind, can I ask? And then I know I did not pursue with the first question. I said first, by the way, sir, do you have a Filipino teacher in your school? And then they laughed. Sabi niya, no, it's you who will be the first Filipino in our school. Sabi ko, oh my God. And then sabi ko, so okay, sir, I'm happy that I will be the first Filipina in your school, and I'm very excited that this time we can share already our culture. You know, sabi niya, really, we're excited to have you here. And then
that's nice.
I have another question, sabi ko sa kanya. The first question actually, before that one, sabi niya, so what is it? What are you most proud of your school?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
And then he said, oh, that's really a tough question.
Did he answer academics or did he answer sports?
No, he didn't answer academics. It was the relationship.
Okay, good.
Within the environment, because he said, oh, that's really a tough question, you know. Sabi niya, actually, our school, so he mentioned that we are like a family in their school, you know, everybody gets fair, sabi niya, and it's so I got really excited, sabi ko, this is also the reason, sir, why I don't transfer from my working school to my hometown, even if the school principal in my hometown has already been long pirating me, importing me to be in our hometown, but I remain in my workplace because of that family environment, and because I have this loyalty, and I think this school really needs me, so I have to stay, and I love everybody within the school. He said, yeah, sabi ko, and I'm very happy that you have the same ambience in your school.
So where are you in the process? Have you contacted a visa sponsor?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I already have the NTRACs, and now I have this verification of teaching experience from Missouri Education.
Okay.
I cannot say that. So
you have the DS already, DS 2019?
Not yet. It's still under process, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
So hopefully very soon.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. You send them paperwork, and then they interview you. You did the designated visa sponsor, and then you're in, and then they want a job offer letter from you, and then sometimes it's a contract, but a lot of time it's just a job offer.
I'm done already with all the requirements for the visa sponsor, and I think this one is the last one. So I did it already last week. So they are just missing some information according to the VS. They are just missing some information from the school. So perhaps this is the last one.
Okay.
So and I'm really excited, Doc, to see you. Really,
yeah, me too. You'll have to be in Zoom in this side of the world with me. But anyhow, I think when is your estimated time of arrival? What's your ETA here? What month?
The start of class will be on August 15. So the last day of our school here in the Philippines will be July 14. Okay. So July 13. So maybe I can fly by 20th of July if if I can expedite my visa interview.
Yeah, they have a month. They have a month. You can come up to earlier as a month. But what happened is that if you cannot get an interview, interview at the embassy because it's full, you need to have them write an expedited letter. And I have a copy of one. Just ask me. And then the superintendent or principal would, in the letterhead, would ask that please, expedite this because we really need her by this date. And they will approve it. And then you will get interviewed early. I think Maria came from I think February or March to October. She was able to come that early because they were gonna do that at that time. And so the superintendent wrote a letter and she was able to come in earlier. So yeah,
Yes.
so make sure you do that,
Thank you,
because the
Doc. Thank you
sooner that you,
again.
I mean, it would be nice if you can get started with the first day of class, because then you get
Yes, yes.
kids, instead of them having to hire a substitute waiting for you. You may want to also right now, while you're waiting on stuff, you may want to be contacting them about housing. Like, and you need to also ask them, like, either do they have a teacher that may have a room that you can rent, maybe a good start for you because you don't have a vehicle, or if there's any apartment or house close by that's a walking distance for you that's safely to the school, that would be one other option. Okay.
Yes.
And then because you don't drive yet, I don't have vehicle, I need to have a ride. And so if you find a place that's just for yourself, then your option would be, is there someone from school that could pick me up? I don't mind paying for gas.
Yes.
So,
Thank you, Doc. Thank you. Thank you.
find out about that. And then the other one is that who can meet you at the airport. So make sure you need to make that arrangement to meet you at the airport. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
And you may want to also research also what are the stores nearby that may have Asian stuff. Walmart is a easy one, but they usually do not have the Filipino things, but like an Asian food market or something nearby, or how many miles from you, because that would be good for you to know, because I remembered some of the newest, like the 2 years ago when the first arrivals came, they had like sardines with them in their suitcase. They have all kinds of food with them. And luckily for them, their house was not ready. So they have to be in a hotel for like 3 or 4 days. So when I visited them at the hotel, and here they were, they had this little, they have the, of course you have your, in the hotel, you have this coffee maker that you can do hot water. So they were doing noodles and they were doing sardines. So I got them some chicken. And so we have a party there in the room, but anyway, so be thinking about that, because you don't know when it will be before you can, you can buy some. The thing with Walmart is they actually carry those little rice that all you have to do is put in the microwave for 1 minute, and then you have your rice for 1 minute. It gets expensive that way, but yeah, you can always, and the first things that they always want to know is, get a rice cooker. Like they always get a rice cooker, but if you have a small one, you can bring with you, that's cheaper there because it's expensive here. The rice cooker that's made in Japan here is more than $100, so more than 5,000 pesos. So if you can find one that's smaller that you can, for one person that you can take with you, make sure that, make sure that it matches the US. Let me see, Dad, what's the transformer thing, Dad? What do we use here? We use 220 here, we use 110. What electricity, do you do 110 or 220?
110, I think.
110? 120. 120? Okay. Well, anyway, so ours is different. Remember, you have to have a transformer. So make sure that if you bring something, it has to match here. Otherwise, you have to bring a transformer. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I'm excited for you though. That is so cool. When did you start this process? When did you start like getting in contact with me? What month? Well, it was pretty late.
Last March. It was last March.
Yeah.
Last March, I think.
You were able to do it in 2 months. Awesome.
Yes, yes.
I think Maria did it within 2 weeks. That's a record so far.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I really, I think I concentrated on doing my application in Arizona, because I have a friend there, or I have 2 friends there, but the district didn't forward my papers because they were asking me to submit a teaching certificate from Arizona for that district. So I didn't pursue. So what I did, I applied in Missouri. So that's it. Missouri is for me.
Yeah, awesome. Did you where did you do schoolspring.com? Is that where you found Missouri, or did you do the multi-test?
From your ma'am, from your
the link? Okay.
From the one that you sent.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, cool. I'm so glad that you all are using that. I have heard of so many people getting interviews, but nobody had told me yet, like I got hired or whatever. So I'm so glad to hear from you saying that you got it. So everybody, if you get hired, please let me know. I'm excited about it. We would like to
You're
hear
the first person to get into my mind, because it was your notes that I was looking before the interview.
Yeah.
It was the only thing and then most of the questions that I had, like, knowing the student and knowing the problem, and then setting that's all.
Of course.
And of course, there were really, I really got this job because of you, Doc Merlina.
You always give me credit, but it's really you guys, because if you ace the interview, you got it. I was just a little bridge. God made.
Everything. You give us everything, the schools, the tips, and this Saturdays, your time, you really I really appreciate the
Well,
time
you're
that you are
welcome.
giving to us,
You
the
know,
effort.
I don't want to get paid, but I want you to pay it forward by helping somebody else.
Yes,
Okay?
yes.
That's what I
And
want.
that's what's the last question. Again, the question one. So they asked me, after, if we get to hire you, what will you become after 5 years?
Goals,
And I
yeah.
told them, of course, the opportunity that you are giving to the teachers is really great. So I will become a great teacher. And, more than here. So because of kanya. And one thing I will make sure that by the time I will be more generous.
Why? Why'd you say that?
Yeah, I will be more generous because I shared to them that in school, since this school where I am teaching, is when it comes to economic stability is poorer than in my hometown. So what I did, I support some of my students for their fare, for their lunchtime. In my room, I have these free snacks, free biscuits for them, so they can get what they want. So sometimes also, this time I am supporting 5 students of mine for their daily transportation. So
So nice
so
to
I
do that.
mentioned to them that
Yeah.
maybe by that time I will be more generous.
I bet
And
yeah, you're very kind-hearted and they can see that.
yes,
So anyway, but yeah, all those, everything that you did was just right. I mean, really, that
Thank you.
led you to get hired. So, and you have a humble heart, and that also helps. If you don't like brag about things, whatever, you just like sharing without bragging. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
yes.
instead of I did this, I did that. It's instead of like this student, or I did, example of things that happen is actually better.
Yes, yes,
So yeah.
yes.
So anyway, well, I'm just so excited. I feel like a proud mama that
I have to see you, Doc. Maybe just 1 month or 2 months after, I will be going to your place.
Yeah,
If
we'll
there
try
will
to
be that vacation time, like 3 days, I will be going really to your place.
Sounds good. I can meet you halfway or whatever if you can get a ride. But anyhow, so we can also make it like a trip for the Filipinos here. We can get a van and then meet you there. Well, that would be something we might be able to do in the summer once you're here, And so anyway, because I feel bad. Our first trip that we had, where I got a van from a friend, and there were 2 Filipinos that lived 4 hours away, right? And we were going to meet them, and they were ready. They were so excited. They were, FaceTiming us. And then at the last minute, we had to cancel because we were trying to get into this museum. And if we get them, we would miss this museum. And this is one of the reasons why we went there. And so, so it was a choice, miss this museum and see them, or, the other way. So we chose, of course, the museum. There are 14 people wanting to go to the museum. And so I felt so bad. And I said, what could I have done differently? Maybe I could have asked them to like come to the museum and meet us there. These are some things I could have done, So I really, but of course it was a different town. I mean, and I don't know where they are driving, but anyway, I feel bad because they were already ready. They were excited. And I don't know how they feel about me and the others after we did that. I felt, I came home still feeling so bad about it. And I should not have made that decision. I should have come up with some kind of compromise. But anyhow, when you're pulled into directions, it's hard, because there's always somebody that's going to be disappointed with that, And I was disappointed in myself for failing, 2 people. 2 teachers that were the only ones in their school, and they were so excited to meet me. I'm friends with their superintendent, so they were excited to meet us, and then we did not come. So anyway, so yeah, that was a lesson learned. I will not promise unless I'm sure it's gonna really happen.
Yeah, but I will come to you. I will be the one to come to you.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Missouri is just like, here's Arkansas, and Missouri is the next state up. So yeah, we drive through Missouri to go to Iowa and to go to South Dakota. All that we drive through Missouri. I shop in Missouri. I'm only 30 minutes from the border of Missouri and Arkansas, and so I shop in
Because
Missouri.
I check that, Doc. When I get the job offer from Missouri, I check right away your your location from me, and I said, oh, it's just near from Missouri and then Arkansas, so it's there. I can get there.
Yeah, you can. And also, it was a good thing that you researched the school. Like I've always said, research the school, research the town, because then when you visit with them, they can tell that you put that extra effort to know them, because that's impressive when somebody actually research you instead of some stranger interviewing with you and they don't know anything about the school. Know their mission, know their vision. And if you can memorize what the small one, the short one, say it to them as part of your answer. That's a really powerful one. and check their handbook for students, handbook for teachers is going to be posted. Know their discipline policy. How do they do their discipline? Everybody does it differently, especially on cell phone. What's their cell phone policy? Some schools would have them lock up in the locker. Some of them would be okay to have them with them as long as it's on silent mode or off. Yeah. So, but some of the schools are just open with it because teachers are actually using it as part of their instruction, like poll everywhere, search this or whatever using their phone. But anyway, so those might be part of the questions as well. It's about the phone thing. But yeah, congratulations again, and I'm so looking forward to hearing from you. When you get your itinerary, share it with me if you don't mind.
Yes,
I would love to know when you come. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, Doc.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. I asked her, so please
Thank you,
share with
Giselle. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Ma'am Giselle.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So Giselle, I appreciate that conversation. So Giselle, we're about to say bye, but is there someone else that really need to talk? It's okay to go over, because I would rather talk to you if you haven't yet. If you have not talked to us, please let us know, because I don't want you to, waste a Zoom meeting and not talk to me, but to everybody. Giselle, do you see any names there that you've not heard before, or did they write them on the?
There are two who wrote here, Dr.
Okay, go ahead. Let's finish them though. Let's finish them. I don't want to get them disappointed that they didn't to do it. Go ahead.
It's Merlina Villanueva, Doc.
Yeah. Okay. Can you talk to us?
Ma'am.
Miss Villanueva.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. Good evening there.
Good evening. Good morning to you, Doc.
Oh, look at her Mickey Mouse. Okay. Okay.
Mickey. My name is Milema Sonsona Villanueva, 38 years old, married with 2 kids.
Okay.
I am currently teaching at Kayam Elementary School, one of the CTO in Napo, Karkar City, Cebu. I have been teaching kindergarten for almost 10 years now, and I finished complete academic requirements in Diploma in Early Literacy Education at Cebu Technological University, main campus with 51 units. And after that, next step will be the comprehensive exam, but I did not continue it because of the many reports from the school, and I'm so busy. Lots of coordinatorship have given me in our school. Then I also serve as a kindergarten teacher cluster head, leading 5 to 10 kindergarten teachers in our cluster since 2019.
Okay.
And I experienced creating kindergarten curriculum in our division, one of the weekly lesson plan writers in our division. I received accolades being the kindergarten self-learning module writer. My expertise revolves around teaching pre-elementary learners and training them to be more dependent, morally upright, and academically proficient learners, not only in the school, but also in our community.
Okay. Why did you want to teach? Why did you not want to teach here?
Teaching in US, I'd like to experience the diverse nationality, and I am
what do you want to learn? What do you want to learn?
I was the culture of the US, though.
Okay, sounds good.
The exchange culture program. I want to share to them my expertise here, and just like give and take.
Yeah,
I can learn from them, and they can learn from me.
Good job. Hey, by the way, Napo, do you know my folks there? Because I'm from Napo. My parents are from Napo. My mom.
Napo, I think, Doc, we are related.
Are we related? Really? Through what? Through which grandparents?
Sonsona.
Ah,
Sonsona na virus.
oh my gosh. Okay, I just call you cuz. You're my cousin. Anyway, well, it's nice to meet you. And when you see
Nice
Napo,
to
I'm
meet
like,
you, Doc.
yes.
Karon fiesta karon, Doc. Diri
Yes,
sa Napo.
okay. Wow. Well, when I come there, I'll have to make sure I see you if you're not here yet. But anyhow, yeah, we still have lots of relatives there. My mom, they have the healers there. They have yeah, they would heal people. Yeah, our cousin there. Yeah, they do that there. So anyhow, but thank you for talking to me. When you do your interview, you may want to get the Mickey Mouse out of you. Just make it the blue background, because it might, well, and it might be your children, but it make it here in America. When you have those, they usually are for children. And so then, yeah, so that's not gonna be relating to professionalism. It's gonna be, yeah, just take it out of the site, okay? Then you have a blue background, which is great, and you have the other background on the shelf is fine. So that's cool. I can tell you must be a Mickey Mouse lover then, because you also have a Mickey Mouse shirt. It's okay. But anyhow, yeah, that's one thing, is make sure that you are in 15 minutes before, so that if there's any technical issues, you have it. And
Yes,
yeah, and make sure you let them know about the 13-hour difference. So they, I remember one Dr. Elvin, they said they did not sleep all night long because they had an interview and they didn't know what time it would be. They did not sleep. Poor thing. They're now in Hawaii. His wife and her are now in Hawaii, got a job there. But he was a regular here. But anyway, so make sure you do that. And also, but you have a very smooth introduction. So keep that up. There's just a few little errors that you may want to pay attention to. Did you want the kids to be dependent, or did you want the kids to be independent?
Independent.
Okay, make sure you said independent, not dependent. You said dependent. And then yeah, you said about because of this responsibilities given me. You said because of the responsibilities that were given to me. Or given to me, okay? And then you also said share to them, share with them, and that's very common mistakes, because we still have issues as because English is our second language. We have issues with preposition, with, in, on, all that. That's a very common thing. And pronoun, he, they, she, we also have issues with that, because it's not very spelled out in our language. We don't have a he, she, they. We always just say kana, siya, whatever. We don't say siya babae. We don't have that, right? Yeah. So that's why. So it's a very common mistake. But when you do your practice, I want you to practice in front of the mirror and pay attention to share with and independent, okay? And given to me. Those are the three things. That's all. Everything else was great. I got to know about you, and you even included like why, your reason for coming here. Make that smooth also, okay? I want to come here as a teacher exchange as part of the teacher exchange program, because I want to learn from the different, diverse students, diverse, if they're asking diverse, it could be diverse in ethnicities, or they could be diverse in their, there's a lot of diversity. A lot of times when we think about diversity, we think only of race or color of the skin. Diversity it just means something different. So some kids will be different in the family structure. Some kids are raised in a single home parents. In the Philippines, it's more common to see the, the extended, we have extended families. We have our grandparents living with us and so on. And so those are diversity. Those are the difference in our families. Sometimes the diversity could be religion. Some of them, we have Catholics, but then in our town, there's not even a Catholic church. We have to go to another town because there are more Baptists here. So anyway, and this is called the Bible Belt in the South. That means there's a lot of churches. In one town, in a small town like ours, we have maybe 10 churches, but with no Catholic church, because most people that are Catholics, they're living somewhere, away from here. But be aware of that there are a lot of diversities. And you said the diverse nationalities. Yeah, say ethnicities instead of nationalities. Yeah, because nationality means that they're American. They're all Americans. But ethnicities means that's ethnicity. Like we're the Filipino. Yeah, our ethnicity is Filipino. Yeah. Okay, so anyhow, do you have any question for me? Because I think you are going to be ready to be interviewed. But do you have any specific question that you have from anything.
I'm still learning, Doc, from your from these Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
I still want to learn
Good.
more
Good.
through
Okay,
the
good.
meeting.
I always
I'm
review
still
yeah.
working my papers.
Okay.
My papers are not yet ready.
Okay. Well, you have to get that ready because the active hiring is June and July. Okay, May, June, and July actually, but yeah, so you have to get it done. If you need my help, send it to me and I'll help you write it. Okay, your cover letter.
I already sent my only one recommendation letter. I'm still waiting for the two from my principal and district supervisor.
Well, if you have the resume and the cover letter, go ahead and look at those job postings from the different states. Go ahead and do that and go ahead and apply, because they they will ask for your resume and cover letter first. Okay.
I'm applying from the school you sent from school spring.
Yeah.
I think it's Sorona Sky.
Is that what?
Sonoran Sky.
Sonora, is that in Arizona?
Yeah. From I cannot complete my account in School Spring because it's all about it's because of the contact number.
Use mine. It's in my email. Use mine. It's in the bottom of my email.
And the SSN, I didn't have that.
Put either all zeros, maybe 000 dash 00 dash and then 4 more zeros. So it's 000 dash 00 dash and then 4 zeros. Okay, so 3, 2, 4 0. So there's 9 numbers separated that way, group like that. And that's the that's what our the IRS here would give us a temporary number. And then once you get your actual number, then it will replace it with the number. But that's like a placeholder. But it should be accepted. It should be accepted. If zeros don't work, try nines, you know. But anyhow, yeah. So
it is not illegal though.
No.
Because I saw from some posts from the Facebook that it's illegal using another account.
It's not another account. It's a placeholder. It's not anybody's account. It's a placeholder. It's a temporary number that if a teacher comes here and they don't have a social security number yet, the secretaries would put those numbers to hold just so the system would let them in, and then they would, when the number comes in, then they would change that. So it's a placeholder. It's not somebody's. It's a placeholder. It would be illegal if you use my social security number. You cannot use it. But if you do my phone number and they call me and I will just tell them who you are, whatever, that's fine, you know. But I hope you don't do that really, because I don't want a bunch of calls. But in order to just fill up something, you know, if you have to get.
I sent to you already the cover letter, Doc.
Okay, yeah. I would rather have text than call, just because my kids call and all the family calls, and I don't want to miss them. So because of so many calls like that, so text is better. I check my text and my email many times a day. So yeah, but do you have any kids? How old are they?
18 and 11.
Okay, so the 11-year-old, yeah, he or she will struggle if mama leaves, no? But you can bring them. You are J1 visa and you do a J2 visa. You can actually do it at the same time. They can go ahead and interview with you. And then if you do not get money for the ticket yet, you can come back later and get them, like the next time. No, I think within 6 months you have to. But anyway, when you save money already, you can do that. Or you can do it later. After you save money, then you can tell your visa sponsor that I want a J2 for my family. And then, just be aware that it might be $3,000-$4,000, and then for fare another $15,000, so about $5,000. Between $4,000 and $5,000 is for every person. So you need to be aware of that. But you can get that in the first month or the 2 months.
Hopefully, though.
Yeah, the first 2 months. Yeah. So anyhow, they will be suffering in the beginning because of you missing your family, but it's part of it. And if you have a lot of people you can call, you can text me, message me, or whatever. And anyway, there should be some people that are close by though, because St. Joseph is it's not too isolated. So yeah, I think my husband was actually don't know if that's true. The one of the cable companies that he built, it was like they're close. St. Joe, Missouri, I think is one of them. But anyway, yeah. So he talked about that town, and I think one of my friends married someone from there. But I don't know if they're still together. So I lost touch. But anyhow, so no questions. Huh? You are gonna do you know the 5 core propositions?
The I think it's the knowledge of the students.
Okay, that number one is yeah, students. That's right. Next, knowledge of
knowledge of the students, then assessment.
No, knowledge of knowledge of your content first, your subject area.
Knowledge of the content, then assessment.
And then the last two
reflection and the collaboration.
Got it. Good job. Yeah, start with knowledge of students first, because that's where you need to know your students first. But it should be as important as your knowledge of content. So when you answer anything, think about those 5 core propositions, and you should be fine. You know, so when you talk about knowledge of content, think strategies. You know, are you doing cooperative learning? Are you grouping them like cooperative learning? Are you doing think, pair, share? Are you doing gallery walk? You know, things like
yes,
that.
I did that already, Doc.
Yeah. So those are your strategies. Those are your knowledge of content. So you use those strategies in order to cover your content. Yeah. And then assessment, you have to make sure that assessment comes before, during, and after. It's not just after.
Yes.
It's, before, during, and after. It has to be continuous, and ongoing. So continuous is continuous. So continuous, it's going on all the time. So while I'm teaching, I'm seeing my kids' faces, and I'm seeing that they got it, or the others look like a deer, the headlight on, you know, so they're confused look. So I need to make sure that I stop, and then I ask questions. I might say, thumbs up if you got this, thumbs down if you don't, and if you're still confused, thumbs sideways. Okay, so you can be checking and seeing for kind of more of a feedback from them. Or if they're sleepy in the afternoon, especially after lunch, you said, okay, if you understand me, I want you to get up and hop like a rabbit, you know, for the little ones. If you're still confused, I want you to do this, you know, do something else. But anyway, because it gets them up. And it says that our mind can only handle what our bottom can endure. So you sitting there, you know, your mind's going to give up and put you to sleep if you don't have any activity going on. You know, that's why I Zoom, you know, I Zoomed too long today. You may be sleepy already, but at least I get a video of this, and you can, I hope I did not, I think I did push record. But anyway, so anyhow, that's it. And I think you will do fine. You know your core propositions. How many times did you attend this? How many times? Is this your first time you've attended before?
Yes, Doc. My first time.
Yeah, okay. So I hope you come back. You come back and talk.
Yes, Doc.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I have a question, Doc.
Yeah, go ahead.
During the interview in the embassy, can I bring my J2, even though they can go there in a later month?
Yeah, you can. You have to talk to your once you get your job offer. Okay, the school already hired you. They gave you a job offer, and the job offer is what your visa sponsors need from you and other paperwork. But job offer is the most important part. And then you tell your sponsor that I want to J2 for my family. You know, you don't have to tell them I want them later. You know, because they're not going to worry about that, because they just process it that way, and then they can go with you to Manila. And Abby said that she did that with her husband, and the husband the question was so easy, like one or two questions for him, and then the rest are less for her. Like, is this your wife? What does she do? You know, something like that. Because the interview in Manila is really just verifying what in the DS 2019 that the sponsor gives you. It tells you how much you're paying. So you need to make sure you know that how much you're going to get paid, how much is that. You might ask you where you're going to live. So make sure you have an address of where you're going to be staying. And then if you have a J2 person, what's your relationship with this person? You know, that. So they're pretty much verifying if what is being said there is true. So it's nothing that you have to study. Just know these things you should know. But yeah, that's what she did. She interviewed with her husband, but her husband did not come until 2-3 months later, because she had to save up money. And so now they're the ones that are going to the estate sale. So their husbands came later. I think Leslie. See, Abby is the aunt, and Leslie's the niece. And so Leslie did it later. Like Leslie did J2 later. So her husband was not able to go with her to the embassy, but Abby did. Abby's husband did. And now their husband's got a job in the school. So they're getting really good money through the school. So they have double income now. And then on top of that, she does after school tutoring. So, you know, they have 4 kids too. So that's it. Yeah. So anyhow, thank you for talking to me, cuz.
Thank you, Doc.
Yeah. Tell everybody hello if you see them down.
Okay,
down
Doc. Lily Bring is here. There in Elena. You know Elena? The sister
Elena,
of
yeah. Is she married?
No.
I remember stuff.
Her girlfriend was married already.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, tell her I said hello. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Giselle.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doc.
Yeah. Okay, Giselle.
Yes,
Last
Doc.
one. Last but not least.
It's I think it's let's see, let's first. It's Sir Kent Coles. How do you read this one, sir? Coles or
yeah, go ahead and show up if you don't mind. Talk to us.
Sir Kent.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am Giselle Ann.
Okay, hey, yeah. Okay.
Hello, Doc.
Hello.
Good morning.
I've not talked to you before, have I? Have we talked before? This is
No,
your
ma'am. This is my first.
That's why I think, because I would have
This
remembered.
is my first time, ma'am.
Yeah, your mole would, I would have
Yes, ma'am.
remembered that. Okay, well, tell us about you. Tell us about you.
Hello, Doc. I'm Kent L. Coles from Candoni, Negros Occidental, Philippines. And I am 5 years in service. I am 4 years in a classroom teacher and 1 year in administrative officer, administrative rather, Doc. And I am the TIC for the small school here in Candoni, in the father school, which is Bali Elementary School.
And make sure you tell us what TIC is. Anytime you have an acronym, it doesn't mean anything here. Make sure you tell us what it means. What's a TIC?
Okay. TIC means teacher in charge.
That's what I
yes,
thought.
Doc.
Okay. They won't know that though. I was thinking,
sorry, Doc.
what is it? Okay, yeah. Then what? What else? For 5 years?
And for my 5 years in teaching, I've learned a lot. I've learned not a lot. I've learned more in how to handle students in not only in the big school and also in the small school also, Doc. And there's a difference between such student in good in academics ng such student in good in not only in academic but also in sports, Doc. But inside the classroom, you have to deal your techniques and how to motivate student to learn more about in Doc, in your lesson also.
Okay. What do you mean by deal your techniques? That means that you use techniques? You utilize techniques?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. So,
yes, Doc.
Yeah. Use the word utilize or use. You would use techniques instead of deal your techniques.
Yes, Doc. Yes, Doc.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Example, Doc. Example, in a big school, in a town, there's some student they can easy to learn in your class, but in other schools such as in a mountain area, because they are lack of, just say for example, in social media, lack of gadgets.
Okay, gadgets or devices.
Internet.
Yes,
Doc. You have more make instructional materials instead to get your lesson also, and you need to have another just say Doc, another way to learn.
Right. Okay.
Another way of
okay, alternative.
Yes, Doc, such as in instructional materials, in Realia.
What's that?
In you make Doc, ng Realia, such
Realia,
as
okay.
Yes, Doc. You make an aquarium or say TV because there are lack of TV, and then to get their attention to listen you and have a collaboration and have a sa room inang collaboration inang lang do ka.
It's okay. Collaboration and what? Do they do presentation?
Yes, Doc. Yes, Doc. Such as a reporting.
Okay.
Na muna, Doc.
Are you nervous? What's the deal with you? Are you nervous? Are you nervous? That's why you're not able to. Yeah. You're funny. You should not be nervous, guys. Anyway, so I don't know. We got cut off. What happened? So Kent, what happened? Did we lose him? That's funny that he's just talking about access and the internet access, and then here it is. No, not internet access possibly issues. So sorry, Kent. So anyway, so your introduction was very informative. You just need to make it a little smoother, okay? Practice with it and make it smooth. That way, and pay attention to your preposition, use your techniques instead of deal your technique, and then listen to you would be better. But anyway, any other than that, it's fine. You have a very good positive attitude and positive facial expressions, really nice background that's plain. So yeah, so that's my comment. So I hope that you will watch this video and see that we did try to finish this conversation. All right, well, any last minute either learning that you had or comment that you have for us, so we can get you recorded. One little comment will get you up there recorded in the Zoom. And then, so anybody, raise your hand or just talk.
I wanna share something though.
Go ahead, Giselle.
Honestly, I've been I think I don't know if I had my postpartum depression, but I think I had my anxiety for the past weeks.
Oh,
and
sorry.
I think I'm discouraged. I don't know. I've talked to my co-teachers with this, because I think I really had a problem. I'm thinking of quitting, and I really don't know. I was crying.
Yeah,
And
sorry.
I was really grateful I attended today, because I was struck by the experiences and everything. And as what Ma'am Dina said, never give up. Yeah. So yeah,
I'm so
I
glad.
had this, and as I've listened to Ma'am Lorraine, I really learned so much from her. So
yeah, she did a good job of sharing the Lorraine, because it was
Thank you,
very
thank you,
informative, wasn't it?
Giselle.
She did awesome. You did. I'm gonna take your picture right now and put it on our Facebook thing, if you don't mind. Because you really contributed a lot today. Thank you. And so hey, I want you to feel better, Giselle, because hopefully you'll be here soon. All your relatives, you've got relatives here now. You need to join them. Okay. And hey, I want you to start turning your camera on every week. You're like, maybe I've seen you twice. You always turn
my
it off.
background is not so good.
Yeah, that's better. That's better. Yeah, you even match your wall on your shirt. I like. Yeah, let me take a picture of you, because it's very rare to see you. She's always like turning it off. Okay, gotcha. But anyhow, so yeah, I'm so glad that she encouraged you, and that's what we do for each other, guys. When you are sharing about your life in the Philippines, and then they're sharing in the US, and I think it's very encouraging, because you cannot help but compare. But just don't be depressed, like, oh, they're there and I'm here. No, because you could be, it just be, all you have to do is ace the interview. That's really all. And that's why if you go look back at our chat, I have 3 different interviews. There's the one that's in PowerPoint. Most of the questions are there, and I even put the answers. Okay, so you need to find those, right, Giselle?
Yes, I've been reading those things.
Yep, you have those, and then somebody here was saying that a bunch of those came out, and that was helpful to her.
Yes,
so
though. I know. I was able to check that before.
You did? Okay.
Yes, questions really were there.
Answers are there, yeah. And I hope you're taking notes. Like Lorraine was taking notes, that helped her. And so if you
Yes.
are taking notes, because our brain can only handle so many chunks, and we have so many chunks here that we are giving you, like bombarding you. So we have to, that's why the 5 core proposition is like one chunk. I want you to look at it as one chunk. You have to know those. If you know those, it's like half of the battle when you answer. Just make sure you put an example. Okay, so when you reflect, for example, I wrote in my notebook, and when I come home, I write in my reflection notebook, and to see that today was a bad day or good day, or this lesson went right or wrong, what could I have done differently? Those are reflection. And then on your collaboration, I need to involve the parents on this. So I need to invite grandparents, some community members, speakers. Those are your collaboration pieces. Okay, so okay, anybody else? Last minute talk. This is our wrap up.
Doc, I just want to ask something here. Because I'm feeling the Missouri Education Verification of Teaching Certificate experience. I just want to ask here, there is that beginning date of employment from my previous employer, which is, and then the ending date of employment. Actually, I'm not yet resigned. So, but
put the last day of school. Just put your last day of school.
Okay, so that's actually what I did. I just want to confirm if it's okay.
Yeah, that's what I would do. It's because you're not quitting. You are finishing thing and then go on. So yeah, you're not quitting in the middle of it. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Doc. Thank you.
And make sure that everyone, by the way, if you are really serious about coming here, you need to have your principal or superintendent, whoever's supervisor ahead of you, to write you a letter involved in it that would also include how many years of teaching you have. Lolian has 15 years of experience, and this, and then a comment about you. So include that, because that's always part of the paperwork, is your years of experience. That verifies.
We call it here, Doc, as teaching certification of employment. That's how we call it here.
Yep, and that would work. Yes. But they have to have a way to verify, because what happens is, other than Arkansas messed it up this year. They kind of start over and say, okay, everybody starts at 50,000, 2.5 million. But then the others in the past, the other schools are actually giving, like, okay, if you have your master's, you get 3,000 more. If you got your doctorate, you get 10,000 more. Things like that. But now in Arkansas, they're pretty much starting over. The new governor is doing this, and it's pretty much like, okay, if you are already over the 50,000 or you're 48 or over, you only get $2,000 raise for next year. Well, we have somebody that was making 39,000. Now she's going to be 50. So $11,000 raise for her. It's $1,000 more every year, every month that she's going to get paid. So yeah, so that's in Arkansas. It's messed up right now on the pay, but it's towards the Filipino teacher is an advantage for you, because you will start at 2.5 million for the whole 9 months. 2.5. So you'll be a multi-millionaire already. 2.5 million for your pay for the first year. Yeah. And then every year you're supposed to get at least $600 to $1,000 raise. But then if you work at a very good school and their scores are really good, they get rewards for that. A lot of time, like Salem, where I live, they're very good school here. We're always in the top 10 of the state. They're always getting at least $1,000 to $2,000 bonus. They give it to you as a reward, and they give it to everybody. So if they have 30 teachers get that much money. So it's bonus. Yeah. So hopefully, I think St. Joseph is a good school. I want to say, yeah, hopefully.
Yes, because I like it, because they are, giving rewards, Doc, for those students who get 100% attendance every month. They are giving $100, $50. Yeah, and then the reward instead of,
that's awesome.
And
I've
they
never
are
heard of
also
school like
giving
that.
surprise nomination for teachers.
Wow. Now, Missouri is doing a lot of very creative things. Sounds like, but do you know that Arkansas actually pays more than Missouri? Do you know how much they offered you? Remember how much?
Yeah, it's 52,555.
Oh, okay. Then you make
52,555.
Yeah, because of your experience, you see. Every year of experience is another step. So if they give a raise of 1,000 a month, 1,000 a year, so if you have 19 years of experience, you should get 19,000 more than what the base is. So if the base is 50,000 plus your 19 years, that should be 69,000. So that's kind of how it works here. There's like steps, how many years you have. So they look, that's why they have to verify your number of years of experience, because they have to see which step you are in. But then some
Yeah.
schools are weird. They would say, we only take 10 years worth of experience from another school. We don't give any more credit than that. Some of them would do
Yeah,
that.
I heard that though.
Yeah,
I heard
to
that.
save money. Yeah,
There are
they
some
do that.
schools like that.
There are some schools like that. So you have to remember, in America, they are free to make decisions like that. It's because of their budget. And anyway, so they are not given, like we have a US Department of Education that is going to rule everybody, but they're not very bossy. They are allowing the state to make their own decision. So they don't usually step down. The only time that they would actually, the federal level, national level, federal level would actually step down is if you're discriminating people, like for example, a special ed child and you're not using their IEP, or a 504 plan, you know, like differentiation piece, that's 504, and that is a law. So if you are breaking the law, you know, they always say federal money and then federal jail, federal prison if you mess up with the money, you know. So make sure that they make sure that the schools actually spending the money in where they should be, because they've got special money for the poor kids that are the kids that are under certain income level. So those are kids in poverty, and they call them free lunch. That means they don't have to pay for their lunches, it's free. And then if you have kids that are kind of average, they would be reduced lunch, they would be paying half. Okay, but then you have kids that are, you know, unluckily, unfortunately, we never do a free or reduced for us, because, you know, both my husband and I, you know, we went over. So our kids always had to, you know, I have to write a check. You know, I would write like $200 for Jet, $200 for Stephanie, and then when it's out, let me know. That's what I did, because it's like $2. So that's about 100 meals. You know, I would say that, but sometimes they want to bring their lunch. In high school here, they think it's really cool to bring their own lunch and have their own, have their own beautiful sandwiches, whatever, you know. But sometimes it's cool for some of them. They think it's cool to like skip lunch. And I always tell my students, guys, you do not need to skip lunch, because you are using your brain all afternoon, all day, and you do not replenish it. And your research is saying that our kids have to have water to drink during the day. And because, you know, some administrators are paying attention to that research, they're actually asking the kids to bring their little, you know, little containers like this, you know, in order for them to be able to drink and have their water fountain before COVID, you know, and then they can drink. You should allow your kids to drink water. You know, some teachers are very strict that they do not want to allow that. You should allow them, because of, you know, our brain had to be, you know, had to be wet. Yeah, it gets dried up. So anyway, so you have to allow that. But I noticed that, you know, as a teacher, this is my reflection. I remember that I really wanted to say sorry to my first 2 or 3 years of teaching, because I was learning. I was learning a lot. I was strict. I was too strict, I think, because if a child would come in and not bringing a pencil with them or a notebook, I would be so mad, because I'm like, you are going to war without any tool, without any whatever, you know, this is like a war. I would say that. But then I realized after I have learned a lot about, you know, hidden rule of poverty, and how some kids, they can even buy pencils, they can even buy notebook, and some of it, and this is America, do not even have the water, you know, they have to go to the river in some remote parts, and they don't even have the indoor plumbing yet. And this is in America in the 2020 something, you know. And so be aware of that when you teach here in America, just because they're Americans do not mean that they are rich. Okay, they have, but the thing is, the more reduced lunches or the more free lunches that they have, the bigger the budget of the school. Okay, I learned this from my doctorate, that if the normal budget is 10,000 per student, $500,000 per student that the state would give them in order for the budget, right, to pay the teachers and everything else. But if you have free lunch student, it's 20,000. And so they get double their budget, you see. And so there were some schools that got in trouble because they were going door to door and asking parents to, like, if you qualify, you need to sign up for the free lunch. And in high school, they do not think it's cool to sign up. We don't want people to know we're poor, you know, so they don't sign up. So they were going door to door, and they were even given prizes like free bicycle, you know, for a drawing for a bicycle, and they got in trouble. Not supposed to do that. But that's the thing, you know, they don't want to sign up because they don't want people to know. Yeah. So, and I'm sure we have that in the Philippines, maybe more prevalent, but it does happen in America. It does happen. One of the schools that I went to, and it was a rich school, mostly white. I was the only minority administrator. And anyway, so what's the first, one of the first PD days for the teachers, especially the new ones, we are ridden in a bus. We rode a bus, the school bus, in order to experience that. And then we go to the neighborhoods of the school, like the poor and the rich and the middle, especially the poor areas, and to see the houses and the environment of our students that are free lunches. And it really makes you aware that, oh my gosh, I didn't know that people would live like this in America at this time. There are some that are, sometimes a victim of, because parents are alcoholics or drug folks, or, something, addiction, whatever, And so you have to be, I guess you have to be empathetic, and that's why you have to be kind and compassionate. And I love, Lorlian, that you're helping your students, they don't have to have fare here. They don't have to have fare because there's a free bus. The bus is free, but we always tell students that this is a privilege. This is a privilege. Actually, we can suspend their bus privilege from the school bus if they don't behave there. So if they don't behave there, we're going to kick them out of the bus, and then the parents have to bring them. The parents don't like that because they have to take the time to bring them to school and pick them up. So they don't want their kids to be kicked out of the bus. So some bus drivers are not very strict. So the kids are just very, very wild in the bus, that some administrators have to ride the bus a few days in order to get straight out these kids, or else all of these kids are going to be kicked out of the bus. You don't want that either. Yeah. and a very important rule here is that you follow this bus, and we don't have this in the Philippines, so you need to know this. You follow the bus, and when you see the light, the red light on the bus, make sure that you stop. Even if you're on the other side of the road, you have to stop. That's the law. You will go to jail. You will get a big fine if you do not, because there have been so many kids getting run over. And so if you see this light, and then there's like a little, look like a train thing, there's a little arm there, and then that would, the kids are coming down and the parents are there waiting for them. But even if you're on the other side of the road coming the different way, you have to stop. So that is the rule here. And then the drivers actually take license plates down if you are not stopping, because you could kill somebody. You could. So yeah, and there could be some bullying in the bus. So as a driver, we also give them training about how to how to spot this. You do not want people to be bullied. And so I think the solution to that is they actually have a seat assignment. So then they know, because some of them are like, oh, it's not cool to sit in the front. We have to sit in the cool kids are in the back, things like that. And so they're always like making these kids go in the front, things like that are going on. But it's more orderly if you have an assigned seat, just like you have an assigned seat in your classroom. Have an assigned seat, because if the kids are just free to go, free to do, sit down, whatever with their friends, you're going to have behavior problems. I noticed that with a lot of my observations. But if they have a sitting seat for every period, you know exactly where the kids are. You do not have to ever call out name per name for a roll call. Do not do a roll call in America, because that is, unless it's the first week of school, then you don't know them yet. But do not do that, after that, because you're wasting time. If I was administrator, I would mark you low, because that is wasting time. The kids could have been doing a bell ringer, do now, anything like that. Get busy while you're doing your housekeeping stuff. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? Yes, Lorlian, go ahead.
I just want to share this one. I think this is very important for the future interviews of our members. There's this question of the principal of Lafayette, which said like this: how do you handle students who doesn't like to get involved in class?
Ooh, inactive, very quiet student.
Yes.
That's really asking about shy students, or quiet.
Not unruly, but who just don't want to get involved in class. So my answer there was that I have this student of mine who is really very poor in class, who doesn't like to get involved because he can hardly relate with us, especially that we are our medium of instruction is English. So, and this student of us is very poor in academic, and so in the first grading, all of his, except in science, which is mine, the rest of his subjects were failed. So, and this child asked his mother that that's the last thing he will do to school. He doesn't like to go to school anymore, and which is part of my advisory class. And the mother talked to me and said nga, Ma'am, dili na nako pa eskwelahon si Kwan kay dili lagi siya makarelate sa kanyang mga lessons. He cannot understand mathematics, he cannot understand English. So these are the things. So what I did is I talked to the parent and asked the parent if she will trust me. I will be the one to personally handle the child. And when she agreed, I talked to the child, and then we settled this one. And I stressed during the interview, I stressed that I have to do this, sir, because I believe that as an educator, we are the most important person in the life of our students. And when everybody said no, when everybody said we can't make it for this child, we as teachers should be the last to surrender in the life of our students.
Got it. Good answer. Good answer.
Yes.
I like the knowledge of student part that you just did, the collaboration piece with the
Yes.
parents. That's good. And then so also another part that you might not have answered is also find out, which is knowledge of student, who their closest friends are. And maybe
Yes, I said that also though.
Yeah. Have that friend sit with them. And in that way,
Yes.
they have that extra support. Yeah. Because you will have that. They're just not coming out of their shell yet. And that's why your example about that teacher writing you a note, that could be you.
Yes, yes.
Right? That could be you to that student. You could be writing notes to that student, and that student's life could change like your life was changed, right? So yeah.
And they like the phrase that we should be the last to surrender.
Like that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are.
Yes.
Yeah. When everybody's saying no, we are saying yes. That's right.
Please copy that.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, write it down. That's important.
That's
Anyway,
personal relationship, stressing your personal relationship with your students.
Yep.
You have to show them the passion that you have.
That's right. Yeah. You have to build that trust. They call them trust relationship. So if you're
Yes.
building that trust relationship, that means that you trust the students, they trust you because you also share about yourself. Okay, when I have a bulletin board about my students, whatever, I also put myself there and to tell them what I think about something. Okay, and so vacation, talking about vacation, I'm sharing about, oh, this was my vacation in the summer. Jet and Stephanie and Dad and I went down there to Florida and did this. Okay, but then you have to be careful about that because, your kids in poverty cannot afford vacations. And so it could be just your happy place. It might be home. I remember a student named David. He said, he's very poor speller. And so I said, if you can be anywhere in the world, where will you be? And he put home. And I said, oh, David, that's nice that you really love your home and you just want to stay home, although you can be in, the money is not an object and you can just be anywhere and you want home. Wow. And he said, well, I really want to go to San Francisco, but I can't spell it. So I just put home. I can spell home. Then I had to reflect as a teacher. I'm like, I was not that strict about spelling. If you are writing your journal, you can make up the word. You can just sound it out. And he said, yeah, he just want to stay home because he can't spell San Francisco. I thought that was so funny.
Like, the teacher asked the child to spell bougainvillea. And the child said, Mom, can you just give me the rose instead of bougainvillea?
Similar. That's very similar. That's cute. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. But anyhow, if you can joke around in your interview, if you come up with something like that and give an example, my friend, my student did it has to be related to the question, of course. But if you can share a joke, something like that, funny, and you make them laugh, you have half of the check mark already. That you might be able to do the
a lot of
okay?
jokes.
Yeah.
It's very humorous.
Yeah, it is. And they humor, what's that? Humor is one of the things that's strategy. That's actually a strategy. So if you use humor in your classroom, research is saying that kids will remember it because you make them laugh. But if they're scared, that's another feeling that if they got scared, they'll remember that for life as well. My son, Jet and Stephanie both, they are very, I am sharing about myself, right? They are very afraid, deathly afraid of spiders. Okay. And here in our town, we have this river, and this river is big enough where we have this like bangka ba, like a little boat that 4 people can fit there, but it's just my husband in the one end, and then Jet in the other end, and I'm in the middle. And we passed by, we just like floating. They call them floating in the river. So you can fish a little, you can, eat your lunch or whatever. You just kind of have a relaxing day, floating the river, going to the other side, and you have to park your other vehicle, the end. So you have a vehicle, to the start and the end. But anyway, so Jet, there were some trees there that were, how trees are, some limbs that are bowed down like that. And guess what? One of those limbs were full of spiders. And it got into our boat. Oh my God. And I remember this. I can't swim, right? Jet and Wayne are a very good swimmer. And so I said, he was over there, oh my God, doing this in the middle of the boat. And I'm like, oh, Jet, don't do that. Oh my God, we're going to tip over. I cannot swim. And you know what? I found out later how scared he was when he wrote, he was young. So he wrote in his 3rd grade letter, and I was teaching at that school. So the teacher forwarded me his essay, showed it to me his essay. And he wrote about the scariest time of my life was when we went boating with mom and dad. He was describing, I forgot all about it until I read the description that he wrote. So that's the feeling, the fear. If you scare them, they'll remember it, but you don't want to do that. They never scare your kids. But if you are making it funny, they'll remember it. Or food, because of all the 5 senses, the food and the sense of taste will have memory as well. You will also remember if you taste something. So for example, when I went to Dominican Republic to serve on a committee to accredit the school, they have this dish, and I forgot the name now. Oh, gosh, it went to me. Anyway, everybody's got do it different way. It's like plantain banana that you parang lusak ba, you use the pestle and mortar to do this, so it's a little baby, and then they form it into a shape of so if they have a cup, they put it inside a cup. So here it is like an open cup like this, and then they pour meat in there. So it could be pork, it could be chicken or whatever. And everybody does it differently, but every time we go in a restaurant, we were there a whole week. So I said, can we order that? Because I want to know how these other people would do it. Because everybody, when I ask anybody, they would do theirs differently. They have their own version of it. So the different restaurants would do a different version of it. I just don't like the lamb version where they have the lamb in it. I don't like lamb or the goat in it. I was like, nope, thank you. I have tasted them. I always tell my students, do not say no unless you have gathered your data. You have already tasted it. But no, I said no to that one. And but I never tasted squirrel. People here would eat squirrel. I never tasted rabbit. They eat rabbits here. And frog legs. It's even part of the buffet, frog legs. Those big bullfrog, and then they would catch them at night, and they would just get the legs and fry it like chicken. And they said it's like chicken. And the other one is alligator. In Louisiana, they eat alligator. They said, oh, it's better than Miss Merlina. It's better than chicken. It's really way better. It's tastier. And I'm like, no, I don't care. I can just see the alligator, So anyway, but the lesson to that is how they feel. How you make them feel in your classroom is what they're going to remember. They're not going to remember the worksheet that you did. They're going to remember they remember the feelings, the fun feeling, because when I talk to my students now who are now parents or grandparents of the kid that's the same size when they were in my class, they remember the things that we did. Oh my gosh, we remember cooking, they were naming all these experiences that we did in my classroom. They didn't remember that we did this food chain worksheet. They didn't remember that, right? But if we acted it out, we have a food chain and we have this circle here, and you have a label of all these, things in the food chain. Well, they're gonna remember that. I was the grass. I was the whatever animal 1, animal 2. They'll remember that because they are more than one senses are being used. So, they are up from their seat. They are doing this. It's fun. They were laughing, all this. We did our solar system, a model of it. We went outside and we, you really have to do, more of a scale model. And then we just put it there, what size of ball would be in there for that planet. But they remember that. They remember those. I remembered my sister doing, they were dissecting chickens and they were making them into mummies. And then they buried it in the yard of the school. And the next day, the principal was asking, did somebody do an activity with a bunch of bandits? Because the chickens were all over the yard because they did not bury them deep enough. So I said, "Oh my God!" She didn't tell she didn't tell the school that that's what we're gonna do. So you need to make sure you tell the school. That's what you're. Anyway, so that was my humorous ending. So if you have any last minute thing, share with us or email me if you're one of those shy participants. But anyway, so I hope you did learn something. I learned something from you every time. Okay. And that's the beauty of it. Yeah. Because when you're sharing, they also, you get shared back and you learn a lot. And so I am obsessed. I'm obsessed with getting you all to get a job here. So anyway, okay. So for now, I'm gonna do my wave. Okay. See you later. Bye.
so much,
Till 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks
Thank
from
you,
now.
Doc.
Okay,
Bye.
bye, guys.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you need to talk so you'll be
Bye,
showing
Doc.
yeah, I want you to show in the recording.
Bye po. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had a lot of people today. Yeah. Okay. Bye,
Thank you,
guys.
Doc.
Okay. Good luck. Okay. Keep applying. Keep applying. Okay. Bye, guys.